Good morning, Daybreak watchers. We're going to get going in about 1 minute here.
Water is that cavity rates go up.
Weekday evenings from 5 to 7 on 92.7 WMDX.
Real news and great conversation. Rick Smith.
I'm Rick Smith, host of The Rick Smith Show. If you're looking for honest talk, real stories, and straight-up news that matters to you, tune in to The Rick Smith Show. We're digging into the issues that affect your job, your family, and your future. Join me weeknights at 7 because your voice deserves to be heard. That's The Rick Smith Show, weeknights at 7, 92.7 WMDX, Madison's home for The Rick Smith Show.
Finding support for my child with ADHD felt overwhelming. I didn't know which direction to take, but Understood.org's resources helped guide me.
Good morning!
Morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. We've talked the whole night through.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
This is where Wisconsin wakes up. It's Daybreak with Brian Noonan and Jamie Martinson. Here are your hosts, Brian and Jamie.
Or Brian and Frank and Parker. Good morning. Welcome to another edition of Daybreak. I am Brian Noonan. Jamie's on vacation this week. So Frank and Parker, our executive producer and technical producer, respectively, are jumping in. They're hanging out a little more than usual, which is always a great time for them. All right, it's Earth Day. Are you doing anything to help the environment today? Do you have plans to help the environment today? 855-75-CIVIC, 855-752-4842. You can call, text, and if you call, be sure you're nice to Parker because that's how you get to me, by being nice to him. Good morning, gentlemen. Frank, we need to get an update. Yesterday, you came on with a quandary about a bachelor party that you are helping plan, and you were asking. You got a lot of great information, I think, from our listeners, giving you locations with, correct me if I'm wrong, a golf course, fat guy-friendly hiking options, and proximity to bars and restaurants.
Yes, it doesn't need to be fat guy friendly hiking. I'll just sit it out and sit in the hotel or the Airbnb and drink. To be honest.
All right,
but
fair enough.
Hiking, golf, bars, and restaurants.
And any updates? Everything, did you make any progress yesterday?
Yes, we've narrowed a couple of things down. We've got places to look. Let's see, what do I have written down? 3, 4, 5, 6. Got about 10 good recommendations from listeners yesterday that are actually written down on my notepad.
So they must be good. You wouldn't waste ink if it
I
was
wouldn't. I'm literally just waiting on final confirmation for head count.
Okay.
Because now
it's jump from 20 to 30.
No, we've already jumped down from 20 to 11.
Oh, that's much more.
It's so much more manageable.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
So much more manageable.
If you could knock 3 more people off that list, 8 would be ideal.
Dude, if we could knock one,
that'd be good.
If we could get down to 10 and have a nice round number like that,
that's true.
Look out.
I was just thinking foursome-wise. You don't want to add one to get to 12, but if you drop down to 8, first, it's easier to get restaurant reservations for 8 people than 11 people.
Right.
Place to go. Bouncers aren't going to give you a side eye when you walk in with 11 or with 8 rather than 11, because you're going to look like a gang then.
How many? I guess they'll have bouncers.
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know how many. I'm just thinking. Well, I thought maybe you guys would want to go clubbing. You're not going to go clubbing?
Absolutely. Do I look like somebody who's going clubbing?
I do see you in yes. I see you with the shirt unbuttoned way down. I see you with a number of chains. I see you with I
only have one.
One chain?
I've got one chain.
I've never been a jewelry wearer.
I'm not either. I inherited it.
Okay.
From my grandfather. That's the only reason I have it. And it's worth more than it should be.
Okay.
And I shouldn't be wearing it.
Wow. Yes, and okay, because it makes sense. You've told a couple stories about your grandfather,
yes,
and his past, and where he might have gotten that chain,
correct,
or how he purchased that chain.
Allegedly, yeah.
All alleged.
Nobody knows.
Right.
Nobody knows. Yeah. But no clubbing.
And I'm not speaking out of school. You've shared those stories.
No, I think some good Wisconsin dive bars would be
I don't know if they have bouncers, or is it just the locals kind of police themselves?
I think just the locals police it. I think the jukebox stops when you walk in, and I go, this is my place.
They all look in.
If it has touch tunes, it's too fancy.
8 fibs, roll it in. That's going to be rough.
A Wisconsin bar hates to see 8 fibs rolling in, guys.
Listen.
Hey, our money's green too.
It's green too.
Yeah, but it's not green and gold, buddy.
But it's not.
It is not green and gold. I can tell you that.
There's your problem.
Yeah, it's going to be an issue. But, I'm glad you made some progress, and our listeners are always very helpful, so we appreciate that too.
Thank you, listeners. I appreciate it.
Yes, some great suggestions coming in yesterday. I took my first step towards summer yesterday, gents. I took out all the deck furniture. I put the rugs down on the deck. The furniture is out. Everything's arranged. The dogs both use the brand new mattress that I got for the deck. So feeling summery.
Did you jump the gun a little bit?
No.
Are you sure?
Not. It's supposed to be very warm today and tomorrow. Yeah, rain, of course, as soon as I finished, I came back in and there was no forecast of rain yesterday. None. Zero. Nope. Got 2 thunderstorms within an hour and a half.
Nice.
Quick moving, but full-on thunderstorms. Because I'm sitting here, I was prepping the show, and I see it starting to get darker, and I thought, oh man, here we come. The glaucoma's kicking in, and I'm about to drop. But then I turned, and it was actually clouds had rolled in. And then I hear something, and I walked downstairs, and my wife was working from home yesterday, and I was like, is that thunder? Because we had the doors open, we had the screen, it was beautiful. Yeah, 2 giant thunderstorms.
That's what I mean. You know what? As long as it doesn't snow again, I think you might be fine.
You
sure about that?
Snow again. It better not snow.
No, but
it could.
Up in Wisconsin,
it could.
Parker, it better not.
It better not. It very well could. Guys, I played tennis in high school. Tennis was a spring sport, and my brother, when he was playing, had a shovel for practice one year because it was snowed in April.
No, all the winter stuff's put away. I can't. I will not allow it. There can be no more snow. It's time. I hung up things on the deck. Got everything's out. I'm ready. I was anticipating. I thought it's such a gorgeous day. Everything's finally out. What I'm going to do is finish prepping the show, and before dinner, I'm going to sit out on the deck, maybe have a cocktail, and just soak up the spring foliage that is beginning to grow throughout the compound. Nope. Everything was soaked. Nothing. Best laid plans.
Are you surprised?
Once again, Mother Nature. No. Listen, if I had any good luck, I'd have some luck. It's nothing. I get no breaks, Frank. That's what I do. I just work. I stop working and I come back to work.
The Midwestern way, Brian. Also, we got some people weighing in on Earth Day.
Oh, on Earth Day, yes. I can't. You know why I cannot see those? So
Julie in Wausau said, on Earth Day, the Marathon County Democratic Party has our annual lemonade and litter pickup at Marathon Park in Wausau. It looks like a beautiful day.
Wow. Now, Cindy from Appleton says she treats every day like Earth Day. It's probably, but is she still hanging on, Parker?
Yeah, I think we still got you on the line. Cindy,
let's say hi to Cindy. Hi, Cindy. How are you?
Hello. Happy Earth Day. I'm good.
Happy Earth Day. What do you mean you treat every day like Earth Day? Explain that to me.
Well, every day when I go for a walk, I pick up litter, or if I'm driving along and there's litter somewhere that just doesn't sit well with me, I stop and pick it up. And I even do that. I'm a school bus driver. I stop sometimes on my bus and pick up a bag of litter and bring it back. But that's what I do. I try to buy as much stuff with as little packaging as possible. I recycle everything that I can. And I take care of my, outside critters and things like that. So every day to me is Earth Day, as it should be for everyone.
That's fantastic, Cindy. Thank you for the call, and that's a good reminder. Yes, every day. I still don't understand people littering. And maybe it dates back to me watching that commercial in the 70s with the Native American crying on the side of the road, even though he turned out to not be a Native American, but he was portraying one. And there was the one big tear that came down his
Does that have
running
to do
down
with
his
littering?
face. Yes, it was all about
commercial.
It was
Wasn't about the Trail of Tears.
No. It was an anti-littering commercial, Frank. They weren't pro littering. They were.
Well, I figured
it was con. And it was, back in the 70s, before there was Earth Day, there was ecology. That was what we were all worried about, the ecology. That was the term. There was no term for Earth Day. So that was the big campaign. One, it was Give a Hoot, Don't Pollute with Woodsy Owl. And then there was this, you've never heard of Woodsy Owl, Parker.
I've never heard that one. That one.
Listen, Woodsy Owl, Smokey the Bear.
I know Smokey.
I don't say Smokey Bear. I say Smokey the Bear. But that's a big debate, I guess, in some circles. Not in this circle.
It's always been Smokey the Bear, right?
It's always, no, now people say it's just Smokey Bear. Like that's his name. No, his name is Smokey, and he is the Bear. Smokey the Bear. Anyway, he prevents forest fires. Mm-hmm. Woodsy Owl wants you to give a hoot and not pollute. The Native American standing on the side of the road, he was standing, I can't even, now part of me, and this could be Mandela effect, I believe it was in black and white, but it might not have been. But in my mind's eye now, I'm seeing it in black and white. And he stood above the freeway or expressway, depending on what part of the country you're in. And he watched cars just throwing bags of garbage out the window. And and there was some heavy music and a voiceover, and then a close-up on his face, and there was one big tear running down his cheek.
Were people just throwing bags of garbage out the window in the 70s?
Back in the day, people couldn't have cared less. We thought the world was just going to go on forever. We were, we were burning tires. We were throwing bags of garbage out the window. We pelted each other with putrid, fetid fruits and vegetables every day. It was horrific. But it is Earth Day today. Everything started this week, but started on Saturday, Earth Week. But today is Earth Day, and the theme is Our Power, Our Planet. It reflects a fundamental truth that environmental progress doesn't depend on any single administration or election. It's sustained by daily actions of communities like Cindy, stopping to pick up garbage on her way, on her walks and stuff, which is great. I live on a big, like a through street, not a little neighborhood street. Mm-hmm. There's always garbage out by the shoulder of the road. When I go out to get my garbage cans and go out to pick up the mail, there's always garbage out there. People throwing bottles out their window, people throwing McDonald's bags and whatnot. And I'm like, pigs? So then I have to pick it up because it's in my yard and it looks horrible, I
didn't know people still did that.
People are...
2026?
Do
Frank?
People do that? I feel like it's just loose stuff that like blows out the window.
From
of
where?
You're very...
No. Or wow, you are. That's a stretch.
That is, wow.
That's an apologist stretch.
Yeah.
Oh, man. This 22-gallon garbage
bag drop their trash just out the car.
The bag of McDonald's, it flew. Did you see the wind?
Okay.
All my big green garbage bag full of...
He's done with us.
I see.
You should be done with it.
I may be naive here. However,
you are 100% naive. Please.
It can't be that bad, though.
Stop. Tanya, listening on WNDX, remembers the commercial with the crying Native American. I think it was on a horse overlooking. Yes, you're right. He was on a horse. Or at least, Tanya, I remember it the same way you do, where he was sitting on his horse above looking down at the road. And then Mark in Prairie du Sac says, there was a bit on hee-haw, gloom, despair, agony on me, deep, dark depression, excessive misery. If it's not for bad luck, I'd have no luck at all. Listen, I just got that tattooed on my back, Mark. It's a huge back piece now. Yep. It's an eagle holding a pig, and the pig has that on its side. That's what we do. That's how we do it. Okay, well, that's Earth Day. It affirms the environmental progress is real, resilient. And listen, here's the lesson take from today. Roll up your windows so all your garbage doesn't fly out of your car. Like Parker doesn't want to see that. I don't know.
I don't.
Who's Fred Sanford driving around with their car full of garbage that things are just flying out?
He doesn't get that reference either.
I don't care.
Nope.
I made the reference for the people who get it. If you don't get the references, catch up. Is it time for Congress to regulate AI? We'll talk about that and more. This is Daybreak. I'm Brian Noonan. This is the Civic Media Network.
Okay, so I looked up the commercial while we were talking, and I watched it. There must be a couple of them, because the one I watched was a Native American in a canoe going down like a river, and it was really polluted river, and then he got up, and then there were people throwing stuff out of their cars.
Okay.
It didn't just blow.
Could be. Yeah, wasn't it just the wind?
No.
Did they actually throw it with their arms?
People actually threw it with it. It was very cinematic. It was kind of put his arm out and he just went like mic drop right out the window.
Horrible. People are.
And then it like splattered at the guy's feet. Not good.
No.
Earth Day 2026 brought to you by our new slogan: "Drill, baby, drill."
This commercial, I believe, is part of the Keep America Beautiful campaign.
Yeah. Oh no. Not again. They don't say again at the end of it, do they?
They don't say again.
Is this foreshadowing?
No. Well, this is Keep America Beautiful, so it was still
That's
beautiful.
true.
I
it was
guess,
still
at the
beautiful.
time.
Well,
yeah,
it
but it
getting to
didn't
the
look
point where
beautiful in that commercial.
No, of course not. That was the goal. They made it. They made it look bad. Oh well, here we go. Day 3. Any texts or messages, Frank?
No.
All right.
Could honestly say no.
Wow, I'm impressed.
No, I got emails about other stuff. It's not about this show.
Emails from Jamie about other stuff?
She forwarded somebody who was trying to get in touch with us for interviews.
All right.
So she did that, to which I said thank you. Now we get back to vacation.
Man.
Thank you. Go away.
In the
I know I've
nicest
said it
way
before,
possible.
but that is the biggest difference between her and I.
My phone will be off.
When I go on
You
vacation, you will not hear from me.
We got 10 seconds here.
Unless you text me, I will not be answering.
No.
Now back to more of Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
Good morning. Welcome back. I am Brian Noonan. This is Daybreak. Jamie's on vacation, but she'll join us back next Monday. We assume. That's the plan anyway. But for now, is it time for Congress to regulate AI? 855-75-CIVIC, 855-752-4842. We've been talking, we talk about AI a lot in all different areas. There was the big problem with the Defense Department and the AI company that didn't want to give them complete control over their system because, quite frankly, nobody knows yet the full potential of AI, what it can do, how it can help us. And I know, listen, I'm not so old or so set in my ways to say that AI is not a good tool. The problem is, once something is a tool, we become more and more dependent on it. And once we put all our confidence and all our dependence into a tool, then we can't ever go back. We can't get rid of it. Think about it now. Before the show, I had a little computer problem. Then Parker was having some computer problems on his end. And, when I started in this business with Marconi, doing the first radio show, we didn't have computers, Parker. Imagine. No computers, no cell phones, no text line, no nothing.
Oh, God.
We came in with a pile of stuff and we talked. And if people wanted to get involved in the show, they had to call on a rotary phone. And then, then the producer would put them on the air. That's how it worked. Well, now think of us doing shows without computers and stuff. It would be, forget it. The internet, we got to have
terrifying.
Yeah, we didn't have an internet, Parker. You know how we found content? We had stacks of newspapers and magazines, and we went through and we cut out stories.
Literally cut them out.
Literally would cut them out. Yes, that's how radio was done. Or there would be intrepid producers on old manual typewriters hammering keys to give stuff to their hosts. Oh. And the news people were hammering out big metal Royal typewriters that weighed about 187 pounds. You could kill a man or two with a typewriter back then. Now, can you kill a man with your phone? No, not at all. All right. Well, anyway, so things have changed. Brought this up because Florida's Attorney General, and rarely, I'm going to say this at the outset, rarely do I use Florida as a good example for anything other than petting manatees. That's the only thing Florida is good for. Florida's Attorney General is launching a criminal investigation into ChatGPT and its parent company, OpenAI, over claims that an accused gunman in a shooting at Florida State University last year consulted the AI chatbot before killing 2 people and injuring 5 more. I guess if you think about it, you can put all kinds of questions right now into ChatGPT, right? A lot of people use it just for professional reasons, for their resumes or cover letters or writing presentations, things like that. But right now, there's nothing that says you can't put in questions like this. So the Republican Attorney General, James Uthmeier, said at a press conference in Tampa yesterday that accused gunman Phoenix Ickner consulted ChatGPT for advice before the shooting, including what type of gun to use, what ammunition went with it, and what time to go to campus to encounter more people. Now, that's according to an initial review of the Ickner's chat logs. Uthmeier said, the prosecutors have looked at this and they've told me if it was a person on the other end of that screen, we would be charging them with murder. We cannot have AI bots that are advising people on how to kill others. So, even if you are a free speech advocate like I am, and even if you are not a huge fan of nonstop government regulation, is it time for Congress to start regulating AI? 855-75-CIVIC, 855-752-4842. I would say yes. OpenAI spokesperson Kate Waters said in a written statement released to NPR, quote, last year's mass shooting at Florida State University was a tragedy, but ChatGPT is not responsible for this terrible crime. She said the company reached out to share information about the alleged shooter's account with law enforcement after the shooting and continues to cooperate with authorities. And while I would take issue with that to a certain extent, yes, but it's the old guns don't kill people, people kill people argument. Yes, Ickner is responsible for actually committing the murders, but as an accessory, if you're giving someone the information, the ChatGPT spokesperson is correct. You know, you can be charged with something, but I don't know if murder is it. Anyway, the district attorney is issuing subpoenas to OpenAI seeking information about its policies and internal training materials related to user threats of harm and how it cooperates and reports crime to law enforcement dating back to March of 2024. The Florida investigation comes amid growing concerns over the role of AI chatbots in mass violence. Altmaier had already announced a civil investigation into ChatGPT's role in the FSU shooting, which is ongoing, and attorneys for the family of one of the victims say they plan to sue OpenAI. It's OpenAI also already facing a lawsuit from the family of a victim critically wounded in an attack in British Columbia in February that killed 8 people and injured dozens more. The alleged shooter discussed gun violence scenarios with ChatGPT and was even banned from the platform months before the shooting, but was able to evade detection and create another account. That according to OpenAI, and that's what they said to, oh, yes, I'm done, aren't I? No, I got a minute. I got a minute. I see. I only see out of the corner of my eye. This is all on me. I panicked for a second because you guys are so in on the clock. Anyway, OpenAI told Canadian authorities that. So I think it is time to start looking into regulating this, and we do have to hold these companies accountable for the things that are able to be discussed. Because first it's gun violence, then God forbid it's somebody discussing self-harm. There's a lot of different bad avenues that can come with a good tool. So we got to figure it out. A lot of coincidences with disappearances of highly connected people. Should we be paying more attention? I'll explain after this. This is Daybreak. I'm Brian Noonan on the Civic Media Network. That's not on you, Parker. That was just me. I saw you out of the corner of my eye because I moved everything around so that now I'm looking right at the camera when I'm looking at the rundown.
Yeah.
So it's not fully peripheral, but it's a little angled. And so I saw your arm went up and I looked and I was like, 2903, did I miss it? No, wait, no.
No.
It's 30 and it's 5950.
Trust.
And it's
It's
and I
49.
have again, I have the brakes right in front of me. It's 20, it's 30, it's 49, it's 5950. See, I know them.
I know you do.
See,
and
know
well,
'em.
trust the music too. That's the other
That's
thing.
true. I got to trust the music. I trust no one. Trust no one. What if AI took over your computer and it's just trying to screw me over?
I mean, I think they're working on that.
Because I was talking bad about it.
I'm pretty sure that's on the docket.
Yes. Now I tried Frank's strategy and threw a question in the middle, tied to something I had just said.
Yeah.
Maybe it's too early for people to worry about AI. I'm not.
AI is one of those things I can't figure out because AI data centers obviously getting a ton of attention.
Yes.
I feel like AI itself getting far less attention.
Right, except for the
this.
government story.
Yeah.
And now this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess you could ask it anything.
Oh yeah. There are, I don't know. And obviously I'm not going to try it because I don't want to get put on a list.
Go on, Parker, for the show. Commit to the bit.
I'm pretty sure that there are things that you can't ask AI. Like if you do, it'll spit back like that's against my policy.
I hope so.
I know that was a thing. I don't know if there's like ways to work around that though, maybe. Or at least maybe there's so many of them too. It could depend on which one you're trying to use. That's the other thing.
That's true. Excuse me. Holy cow. All right. Well, I was right yesterday. Yesterday was Tuesday. Taco Tuesday.
Taco Tuesday.
Trump always chickens out. He, once again.
Oh, God. I saw that and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. What's the point then?
Right. We're just.
Indefinitely?
Yep. All right, it's a ceasefire. Till they come back. Till they get their stuff together. Like, all right. Yeah, and they're not.
In that case, I'm never coming back to the table.
Yeah. Yeah, Iran's like, we're not talking to you. We control the straits. The strait. Even though you said we don't.
I saw some guys, and it was like a comedy podcast. I saw some guys going, well, I have a solution to this. We just build a canal. Okay, where do you build the canal?
So bypass the strait and just dig through. So where did I? Maybe it was a different comedy show that somebody had said, why don't we just lop off this part of the. So it might have been the same kind of thing. It's like, wow, you are not smart.
It's like, hey, just build a canal, go straight through Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, just start digging.
Like, that won't be a problem at all.
No.
It's like, no, don't go that way. Go the other way. Go through.
Everybody's
Iraq.
really excited about the U.S. just doing whatever it wants without regard to their sovereign nation. Yeah, we're just going to come dig a big trench in your country.
What the hell? Why not?
Try to be sneaky.
If we can do it to Panama, we can do it to anybody, Brian.
Well, that's true. Eminent domain.
All right. Yeah, 15 seconds.
Manifest destiny.
From Lake Superior to Lake Michigan, this is Wisconsin's Morning Conversation. Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
Good morning. Welcome back. I am Brian Noonan. This is Daybreak. Jamie will be back with us on Monday. For now, executive producer Frank and technical producer Parker are here with me, and you are here with me, and that's the most important. 855-75-CIVIC is how you really engage. 855-752-4842. All right. Should we be paying more attention to something, quite frankly, that seems a little bit like a conspiracy? And I know at first blush, you're probably, if you're a rational human being, like I try to be, you're going to go, Brian, I don't want to pay attention to any more conspiracies. But then, where does a conspiracy end and reality begin, Parker? That is the deep philosophical question for today.
Oh.
Yes. 855-75-CIVIC. So I had seen something about this story a few days ago, just in passing by some comments on either Twitter or Threads, one of the platforms I was flipping through, and somebody said, scientists are disappearing and we're not paying any attention to this. And I was like, all right, lunatic. Well, then I start seeing it more and more places, and I'm seeing it on CNN, and I'm seeing it in the New York Times, and I'm thinking, well, maybe we should start paying attention to the fact that at least 10 scientists tied to sensitive U.S. research have died or disappeared in recent years. And finally, there is a federal investigation. I know this sounds very X-Files. This sounds very tinfoil hat. It sounds like, what's the frequency, Kenneth? But Parker, you are correct. The truth is out there. So here's the deal. A nuclear physicist and MIT professor fatally shot outside his Massachusetts residence. A retired Air Force general missing from his New Mexico home. An aerospace engineer who disappeared during a hike, Frank, don't go hiking, in Los Angeles. So those are just a couple of examples of at least 10 people who are connected to sensitive U.S. nuclear and aerospace research who have died or disappeared in recent years. Because of those coincidences, oddities, chain of events, well, now we have concerns about whether they're connected, and they have fueled speculation online about the possibility of nefarious activity. And once I hear about nefarious activities, I'm invested. I need to find out more. I need to see, what does this mean? So the FBI, and we have so much to say about the FBI. We're not going to say it right now, except Kash Patel is in for a rude awakening once Discovery starts. I don't know, sidebar, Your Honor. If you saw Kash Patel yesterday make his little statement about this lawsuit he has with the Atlantic, he tried to throw out the bravado that the president uses when he thinks he's going to be able to intimidate people. Somehow, coming from Kash Patel, it did not carry the same weight, or it made me laugh. It didn't make me feel intimidated at all. All right, so anyway, back to the 10 missing scientists. The FBI now says it is spearheading the effort to look for connections into the missing and deceased scientists, adding that it is working with the Department of Energy, the Department of War, and with our state and local law enforcement partners to find answers. What could those answers be? Now, separately from the FBI investigation, if you want to believe that the FBI is investigating, and since we're talking about something that has conspiracy written all over it, let's start a whole bunch of them. Separately, the Republican-led House Oversight Committee announced Monday it's going to investigate reports of the deaths and disappearances of the individuals whom it said had access to sensitive scientific information. I know that you have to be thinking, Brian, this is the script of a bad Tom Clancy novel. Maybe. Maybe it is. Maybe it is all coincidence. I wonder, and you could tell me, How many coincidences does it take for it not to be a coincidence anymore? Is a couple? Well, that's just a coincidence. Those two things happen. And when you get to 4, when you get to 5, is it still a coincidence or is it a pattern? And then when you get to 10, until you find out if they are connected or not, is that when a coincidence ceases to be a coincidence? Let me know, 855-75-CIVIC, 855-752-4842. All right, so the reports raise questions about this and about a possible sinister connection between the deaths and disappearances of the committee said in a statement. They're seeking, this is the Republican-led House Oversight Committee. So the report has raised questions about these possible sinister connections. They're seeking briefings on the matter from the FBI, the Defense Department, and the Department of Energy, and NASA. The cases do vary widely in their circumstances. You know, there's not a pattern. It's not like a serial killer where you go, oh, everybody was killed with a hatchet or this type of gun. All right, Lynn wants to jump in. No, this is this is a text. Yes, this is a text from Lynn in Golden Valley. She read that a few left home, quote, in a hurry, not taking cell phones, etc. Interesting. I agree. Interesting if these facts play out. You are correct, Lynn. So the cases do vary widely, like I said. So you've got all kinds of different patterns. Some involved unsolved homicides. Others are missing person cases with no signs of foul play. In at least 2 instances, families have pointed to pre-existing medical conditions or personal struggles as possible explanations for the disappearances. Authorities have not established at this point any links between the cases. All right, so now Dick is in Madison. He wants to jump in. You can jump in too, 855-75-CIVIC, 855-752-4842. Good morning, Dick.
Good morning. Well, first of all, wouldn't the FBI usually be the agency that would be looking into some of this stuff? And presently, that doesn't function.
Correct.
I mean, this guy's too busy traveling to concerts with his girlfriend on our dime and whatever the hell else. I mean, it's a joke. We could easily get hit with some type of an attack because there's nobody. They're totally asleep at the switch from what I see.
It does appear that the grown-ups are not in charge, Dick. Thank you. Yes, the FBI is the group that should be handling this. I appreciate the call, as always. Listen, we all know that a lot of these agencies are headed by people who shouldn't be heading these agencies for whatever reasons. But yeah, so I'm not trusting. This is what feeds into more conspiracy theories. When you don't trust the people who were handling the investigations, that's when you start to panic and you go, oh, maybe this is odd. But the string of mysterious deaths and disappearances began in 2023, Parker. Lawmakers say with the death of Michael David Hicks. He's a scientist who worked at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory for nearly 25 years. Now, in the years since his death and disappearance, the several others connected to the Jet Propulsion Laboratory have also died or disappeared. In recent months, the deaths of several acclaimed scientists have also fueled speculation. It's hard not to, and maybe it's a flight of fancy to start putting these in cinematic context. Perhaps they are just random, unconnected deaths of people who tended to work at the same place in highly sensitive areas. Now, since 2023, a lot of people have died or disappeared in the country and in the world. We don't hear much about them because they're just random folks. They're your neighbor. They're the person down the street. They're a guy working in another state that has a job that pays, supported his family, but didn't really make a national impact where we would pay attention. But we got scientists who all work for the JPL. We got people who are connected to other sensitive information. I don't know. Well, what does the president think of all this? That's a good question. What does the president think of anything? He said he hopes the disappearances and deaths are just a coincidence.
Well said, sir.
Yes, sir.
Well said.
Thank you. Thank you, President Obvious, for stating that fact. I don't know, Parker. What if I watched Clear and Present Danger, not really connected. I also watched Haunted Mansion, and those movies had nothing to do with each other, but I watched them, and so I thought I'd bring them up right now as part of this conversation. No, well, of course we hope it's not a coincidence, but how do you think that it's not? He also went on to say the White House is, Caroline Leavitt, his watchdog, came out, and so I shouldn't say that. Apologies. Take it back. My AI overlords, please score me correctly. Because the press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, said the White House is, quote, actively working with all relevant agencies and the FBI to holistically review all of the cases together and identify any potential commonalities that may exist. Yeah, well, I don't trust Nancy Drew and the rest of the White House gang to Scooby-Doo this thing. I want some professionals looking into it. And it, is the oversight committee going to be the one that gets it done? I don't know. And just because I don't trust Kash Patel as far as I can throw him, I do trust that there are a lot of dedicated people at the FBI who, once they are put on a case, are going to follow that case through to the end. So I have doubts about the FBI leadership. I do not have doubts about the FBI personnel. I know that if it comes to it, they will find out if there's any connections. I don't know. It just leaves me wondering, what could all the connections be? It does seem, again, like I said earlier, it does seem like the plot of a book. Why, Parker, do you believe in coincidences?
Yeah, I definitely do.
To what level? Going back to one of my questions. What level is a coincidence?
I'm trying to go back to how many things is a coincidence and how many is an actual thing. Yeah.
So we've got 10 people missing or dead. Nuclear physicists, people who work at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, all these scientists.
So 10 is a lot. However, what's the grand scheme? How many of them are there? Like, are there thousands of these people in the world or in the country? That's just it.
Thousands of people that work for NASA or in the Jet Propulsion Laboratory.
Have this kind of information that potentially would want to get.
Well,
someone would knock them off. I don't know.
That is a good question. How many people have access to classified data in this realm? But still, even if, say, it's 1,000 people, 10 is still a pretty big coincidence to all happen in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And all in the same. Now, I guess if you were an actuary and you took the amount of deaths in the United States from 2023 till now, and you spread it out with all your data and your graphs and all that, it would probably, in the overall deaths, it would be a very minor percentage.
Yeah.
Then you would have to take down to, like you said, okay, how many people work at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory? How many nuclear physicists are there? Okay, now how many of that number then have access to classified information? Now that's a smaller number. Now you've got a smaller number and you still have 10 people.
And it's a group of people, though, I don't know what the ages are of these folks that have passed away. Is this a group of people who is maybe a little older and is in a high stress job?
Well, I would think there are high stress jobs.
See,
I like that you're being logical about it. I like to be a little more. I like to cloak and dagger. I like to think that there's some ulterior motive to this whole thing. But we don't know about that. We've got to keep moving on. There's invasive species all over Wisconsin. I'll tell you what they are and how you can get rid of them after this on the Civic Media Network.
All right. Yeah, I don't know. I think 10 is a lot. 10
is a lot.
Like if 10 of something happened to me,
if 10 Packers died over the last 3 years,
that's a problem.
Something's going on in the Packers organization, right?
Yeah.
Now, all right, what if 10 players in the NFL died in the last year? Bigger number. Still concerning, though, I would say.
Yes.
How are they connected? what's going on. If 10 radio hosts died in the last 3 years. Now, their jobs were killed. We know that because of consolidation, but not here. I'm talking everywhere in the industry. But, I just think it's funny to go for, and it's one of those things. It's one of those internet things where I saw it in some comments. I was like, oh, that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
But I didn't pay attention to it. Then it comes into the big mainstream media, and I'm like, oh, wow. And I'm reading more into it, and I'm reading more information from respected news agencies, I think. And it's like, oh, boy.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, you never know. And who would be doing it? Are there foreign agencies?
Anybody.
Here? Is it some guy who has a personal vendetta against NASA because they wouldn't let him be a janitor like he wanted to be?
Oh.
You never know.
You never know.
You never know. So the hard-hitting questions.
Hard hitting. I just got a text. One of the dogs had pooped in the house.
Ah, nice.
That's nice. Sometime between 4:30 and Debbie got up at about 10 to 5.
Yeah.
Maybe they pooped while she was in the shower. Because
she always wasn't you. It might have been you.
It wasn't me.
No?
No.
No.
I don't want to get into it, but all that was taken care of last night horribly. Yeah.
Thanks for sharing the details.
No details. So it was the little dog.
Oh, okay.
And she might have done it. She might have done it when Debbie was in the shower because
15 seconds.
Oh, too much. It's weird.
All facts, no fiction. It's Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
Good morning. Yes, I like to pause a little because I've always... Here's the thing, Parker. Now, we're at day 3 of Jamie being on vacation.
Yeah.
And normally, I'm like Pavlov's dog. I hear the big voice guy, I hear the nice music, and then Jamie will say something pleasant, like good morning, she welcomes people back, and then I snap to. Well, without Jamie here, nothing's snapping me to. I'm focused on invasive species that we're going to talk about because people are starting to garden. They're getting out, they're cutting their grass, they're looking outside, and they're going, oh, what is this? But yes, that's why there's the pause. I think yesterday at the beginning of Swiper's Day, I completely blanked.
Yeah.
I was like, who's starting the show?
To be fair, I think you were assuming that Frank would intro that because it was
I don't know. Yeah.
Game. I don't know.
Maybe I was just I don't know.
Would you like going forward for the rest of this week? Would you like me to yell at you at the start of every segment?
Yeah. What's after the big voice guy does here's Daybreak with Brian and Jamie, you just go, Brian! Hello. Yes. Yeah. Hi. Well, hi, everybody. I am here, and quite frankly, I am paying attention. I'm just always looking at something else for the show. I need that other, I don't know. We'll get it straightened out. Anyway, why don't you call in and wake me up? 855-75-CIVIC, 855-752-4842. It is gardening season. I do not garden. I cut the grass. I weed whack. I sometimes will put down fertilizer. Not this year because fertilizer prices have gone up, as you know, because the Strait of Hormuz is under blockade and closed. But that's neither here nor there. That doesn't affect your yard or your garden. But what could affect it are some invasive species and plants that are coming to Wisconsin and are all over. And once again, without Dr. Fauci telling us, we must stop the spread. Because invasive plants come in and, oh, man, things get dicey. So some of these species are so prevalent that controlling them can be difficult, but for others, identifying, reporting, or removing them can make a significant difference in their ability to spread, and it is happening all over the state. So if you are outside anywhere, or if you're going on a hike, like Frank on his bachelor party, if you're hiking through and you happen to see one of these invasive species, and you'll have to do a little research to find out. I saw this story in the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, and they have pictures, so maybe you want to print that out and carry it with you so you can identify invasive species. That will make your walks that much more exciting, Parker. You won't be listening to whatever it is you listen to on Spotify, sea shanties or funeral dirges or whatever it is that you listen to. Now you can also help the environment on this Earth Day by taking care of invasive species.
This sounds riveting, Brian.
Right.
I would love to carry around photos of invasive species.
Here's the thing, Parker. You can help prevent the spread of invasive plant species by cleaning your shoes, cleaning your vehicles, and other equipment before entering or leaving natural areas. So, like if you're hiking in one natural area, clean your shoes before you go into another natural area. I'm going to be honest, that's not going to happen. And I don't drive my car through a lot of natural areas.
No, you're not a natural area car kind of guy, are you?
Well, who takes their car into it? Do you do four-wheel in your Civic? That doesn't seem right. I don't have if I had a four-wheeler, I'd be four-wheeling through fields and things. But I have a Santa Fe. That's not really, it's not really an off-road
She ain't going in the woods.
No, she's not going in the woods. She barely makes it down the road. So some of the officially listed invasive species are stilt grass, Japanese stilt grass, to be specific. So here are some that you need to be responsible for quickly. Siberian squill. It's a hardy plant with deep blue flowers that bloom in early April. I think I have some of those in my yard because I have things popping up that have beautiful blue flowers, and I'm like, oh, those aren't weeds. Look how it's like I have a wildflower garden in my backyard. I'm not going to worry about that. But to remove Siberian squill, you can smother it with cardboard or landscaping fabric and wood chips. Dig it up or use a weed killer. That sounds violent. I don't know. But it does displace native plants. Lesser celandine is another one, Parker. I like greater celandine, but the lesser celandine, no good. Land managers across Wisconsin are asking the public to look for and report populations of lesser celandine, which is newly spreading across the Midwest. Milwaukee County is a hot spot for this, according to UW-Madison's Division of Extension. It has also been documented in Dane, Waukesha, Rock, Walworth, Racine, Kenosha, and Ashland counties. It is spreading. It is invasive. So you got to take care of that. Japanese stilt grass, the aforementioned, you can hand pull that. It's a grass that thrives in the shade and can form large mats covering the floors. So there's a lot more. I don't know. We tried gardening. For a couple of years we were growing vegetables in one of those elevated boxes, and I like that. And I like keeping my yard nice, but I'm not one of those guys who is fixated on it and obsessed with it. I don't cut it 3 different ways to try to have stripes.
Brian, you're not retired yet.
That's true.
Yeah.
I guess. I just want to here's the other thing. If I look out and it's green and it's mowed, I don't care what's causing the green. If it's grass or if it's weeds, from a distance it all just looks green. Okay. And for me that's enough. But if you are a horticulturist, if you are involved in environmental studies, if you are somebody who's out in nature all the time, keep an eye out for some of these invasive species, especially in your yard. But you could help out, Parker. I'm just saying.
I could.
You could.
Hey,
I'm not saying you have to.
Remember, just because it looks pretty doesn't mean it's supposed to be there. I was reading, I don't know if it was this article or another article I was reading, but somebody was like, yeah, no, this plant, people were like, oh, it looks pretty, let's keep it. And they're like, actually, no, this is horrible for the native species.
Yeah, there was one that I found in my yard last year that I looked up, and it was, this is very dangerous and invasive. I was like, wow, it looks very flowery. That's how they get you. That's how those invasive species get you. It's like when you date somebody and you go home and they take off all their makeup and stuff, and you realize, wow, lighting is important. But anyway, I digress. Let's move on because it's almost 7 o'clock, and that means it's going to be time for headlines and stuff you need to know after this. I'm Brian Noonan. This is Daybreak, and you're listening to the Civic Media Network.
All right.
All right.
Boom, 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 boom,
Doom, 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 doom. Oh.
Earth Day, AI, and vanishing scientists. Coincidence or conspiracy?
Yeah. What a week, or what an hour.
59.
Hello to everybody who's watching on the stream. I have been negligent in welcoming you this morning, but I appreciate you being here, so thank you. Feel free to jump in whenever you want. Who's usually on there? Alicia's usually on there. Mr. Plow King's usually on there.
Oh, yeah.
Then we get some other people.
Pops in.
John's in there popping in and out, so we're always happy when people are commenting and watching on the stream.
Did you catch the voice that we just heard a second ago?
No.
5950.
Oh, I heard you. I know. I have a mental block. Maybe I'm neurodivergent when it comes to time.
Mr. Plow King's here.
Enjoy your coffee, Plow King. Yes, it's 7 o'clock. That's Frank's coffee
Goodbye.
time. Bye, Frank.
That's why he won't turn his camera on right now.
Yeah, because he's got to go get his coffee. 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
Frank is a creature of habit, like most of us are.
Oh yes.
I have to bring my coffee up with me, and now it's 7:30. I have to remember to go down and feed one of the dogs, or they'll start whining. See if anybody else has dropped one in the house. That's very rare. That's very, very rare.
Yeah, it's been a while for us too.
Yeah, I don't know because she got up when I went in and turned on the coffee pot at 4:30, and then and she ran toward the door, but then she ran back and went back to sleep. So
just did a quick lap. That's all.
Yeah, she wanted, like, sometimes she will come out and she'll look just to make sure it's me, and then she goes back to sleep. She does that at night too. Like, she'll come into the bedroom just to look that we're there. She looks, she sees us, and then she goes back about her business.
Yeah, guard dogging.
Yeah.
It's important.
It is. When you're a 20-pound little yappy dog.
That's what my dog does.
Take care of the business.
Yeah. He holds down the fort like nobody's business.
Yeah. He don't want no business. She's up in the window. She's barking at things. He's barking at the horses that live behind us. I'm like, those horses would mush you.
Still insane to me that you have horses in your backyard.
We have horses. And now there's a foal. Did I tell you that? There's a baby horse. Yeah.
Whoa.
So that's been cool. They go out every afternoon. They're out in the out running around, and and I think it must be the male, because the male stays separate, and then I'm guessing it's the mom and the baby stay in another corral, and the baby runs around, and the male's over there, and he's running. He's getting all crazy in his corral, jumping around, banging into the fence.
Oh yeah.
He wants a little more of that horse action.
That's the kind of horse I want to be.
Yeah, I do too. It's like, look what I did. Look what I did. I'm doing it again. I want to do it again. All right, relax. Relax.
You want to see me do it again?
Come on, Mr. Ed. I don't know. Just relax. You already.
I'll jump into that fence again.
But yeah, then it's fun when the windows are open and you can hear them making noises. But now in another month or so, everything will have grown in. We won't be able to see them.
Okay, I was just going to say, how close are they?
They're right there. Our property lines butt up against each other.
Okay.
So they're right, they're right behind us, literally.
Yeah. Huh.
But there's a lot of trees and bushes and whatnot.
Sure. Right, the property line. There you go.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I say you cut out a little window in the trees so you can see the horses.
You can make them out, but like you can't see them clear. But that would not do good. Walter, our grand dog, Walter is
Oh, he was
tiny.
terrified of the horses, isn't he?
Oh man, the horses are his nemesis.
Yeah, I remember you saying this.
Oh, he does not want to. He does not want to hear about the horses, see the horses. Molly has warned us. Oh, you think it's funny? He doesn't know. Maisie will only bark at the horses from the deck. If we're down in the yard,
A safe distance.
she'll just stand and stare at the horses.
Of course.
And Lawson could not care less if there were horses, if there were tanks, if there were pterodactyls. He just looks and goes, I'm going back in to lay down and take up
This
space.
is my business.
Yeah.
That's your business.
Y'all mind your own business. This is not. My name's Paul. This is between y'all. I got to go. Like, all right. He truly is my spirit animal. He doesn't give care. He wants to chill and have snacks and eat his dinner and get petted. That is all.
That's a
And
life
he's
of a dog.
happy. Yep, that is a good life. He is all set.
Dog got no worries.
He really, and he knows it. He's like, he knows what side his bread is buttered on. Maisie always wants to take off. Lawson's like, I'm not finding it any better anywhere else. It's perfect.
All right, we got about 10 seconds.
Across the state of Wisconsin, Daybreak with Brian and Jamie is back.
It is back. See, I was ready. I was ready to go. We are back. I'm Brian Noonan. Jamie will be back on Monday. If you want to get involved in the program, we'd love to have you. 855-75-CIVIC, 855-752-4842. Don't forget to visit our new social media platform channels. We would love to see you on Instagram or Facebook. It's Daybreak with Brian and Jamie. You just search those and then like us, follow us. We'd appreciate it. And then, then we can tell the suits, hey, look, we're very, very popular. And they'll say, okay. What does that mean to us? And I'll say, nothing. I just wanted you to know. Either way, Instagram and Facebook, Daybreak with Brian and Jamie. You can also download the free Civic Media app so you can listen to us wherever you go. And don't forget, if you've missed any part of any of the shows, you want to hear some of the interviews that we do, you can go to civicmedia.us or Spotify. That's going to be the easiest thing because we're cool like that. Go to Spotify, download our podcast, subscribe. Then they're always right there. And maybe you're out looking for invasive species somewhere. But you say, wait a minute, Brian told me about this snodgrass or whatever it was. Let me check that out. And you listen to the podcast about it. That would be fun. If you have a real loose definition of fun. All right. It is
Whatever
time.
floats your boat.
Yeah. Listen, I don't yuck anybody's yum. I don't even know what that means, but the kids say it, so I have to say it. Anyway, let's check some headlines from the Iranian war of choice that the president has launched. Anyway, here are some headlines. U.S. President Trump said he extended the ceasefire with Iran until peace talks have ended, despite his prior vow not to prolong the truce. Trump said the U.S. was waiting for a, quote, unified proposal from Iran's, quote, fractured government. I would say don't hold your breath. It doesn't appear that Iran is making any efforts to be dictated by your timetable. And also, man, I predicted this yesterday, Parker. Yesterday was Tuesday.
Yeah, you did.
And Taco Tuesday, big talk. And then we extend it indefinitely. Ceasefire indefinitely. So is that, in his mind, the end of the war? That's the question. Well, I extended the ceasefire indefinitely. Okay, what does that mean? You still have the blockade up. Anyway, also yesterday, a senior Iranian commander warned neighboring Arab countries to, quote, say goodbye to oil production in the Middle East if they allow the U.S. to resume attacking Iran from their territory. More headlines. At least 2 container ships were hit by gunfire in the Strait of Hormuz, according to a maritime agency, following Trump's announcement. Iran's Revolutionary Guards previously said it would shut off the strait until the U.S. blockade was lifted, which we don't see any timetable for the blockade being lifted, because meanwhile, Trump said the U.S. would continue its blockade on Iranian ports, which Iran's foreign minister previously said amounted to an act of war. The president said lifting the blockade would undermine the process of a peace deal. No, that's the kind of, again, I am not a trained diplomat. I am an average at best negotiator. But I think if you continue to have aggressions against a company, or a country rather, it really is detrimental to peace talks. So maybe you pull the blockade, because if you remember, and I know, put it on the tally board, how many times have I repeated this? The Strait of Hormuz was open before we bombed Iran. Everything was fine. Parker's going to his notebook. This, I think, was the 1017th time I have mentioned that. I will mention it again because it is true and it is important. Also important, oil prices are rising today following reports of Iranian attacks on container ships near the Strait of Hormuz just hours after the president extended a ceasefire with Iran to allow more time for peace talks, which are not going to happen again because he won't lift the blockade. It's just a circular cluster of insanity that is not being taken care of, and I don't know how it will or when it will, and we all pay the price. And then more and more people die. It just keeps going. All right, well, those are the uplifting headlines from the war. Now, let's delve into a little more stuff you need to know.
It's a wake-up call in more ways than one. Time for some you need to know.
A few more details on the ceasefire, the indefinite extension. So the president announced yesterday he's going to extend a ceasefire with Iran hours before it was due to expire, pledging to refrain from attacks until discussions with Tehran are concluded one way or the other. Trump said Iran's leadership was seriously fractured and needed to come up with a unified proposal. As far as I know, again, there's only been one consistent message coming out of Iran. There has not been, the regime, then the president of Iran, no, everybody, there's one message. So, and part of the other part of the problem that Iran does not want to come to the table is because Trump is doing all this diplomacy on social media, and they feel like he's trying to threaten them through social media rather than having adults sit down and have conversations. Well, he also made the announcement as talks were scheduled to take place between the U.S. and Iranian delegations in the Pakistani capital of Islamabad. Those were postponed amid uncertainty about the broad strokes of the deal. Vice President Vance and other U.S. negotiators remained in Washington instead of leaving for Islamabad as originally planned. A U.S. delegation was expected to depart yesterday for a second round of face-to-face peace talks, but Vance stayed behind to hold, quote, additional policy meetings at the White House. Iran had yet to confirm its attendance at the Islamabad talks, instead warning that it is prepared, quote, to unveil new cards on the battlefield. The ceasefire was originally set to expire today. Trump accused Iran of violating the ceasefire numerous times in posts on Truth Social early yesterday. In an interview with CNBC, he said the United States was, quote, going to end up with a great deal, end quote, from the negotiations. I think they have no choice. We've taken out their Navy. We've taken out their Air Force. We've taken out their leaders, Trump said. Just a little clarification on that. Might be true, but their Air Force, their Navy, and their Air Force and their Navy were ancient. And we gave them to Iran way back in the day. So this is an old Navy and old Air Force that we have bombed. And we didn't take it. We took out their old leadership, but they had new leadership ready to go. So we didn't really do that either. When asked whether the U.S. would resume bombing if a deal was not reached by Wednesday, the president said that he expects to, quote, be bombing because that is a better attitude to go with. He added that the military is raring to go. This does not sound like a ceasefire. I don't know. I know he's the president, so who can really stop him? But his rhetoric does nothing to help a situation. All his rhetoric does is inflame things. Iranian officials said in statements yesterday that they would not bow to U.S. pressure and said they maintained readiness in case of attacks. All right. Brian, is there any other stuff we need to know? Yes, thank you for asking. Here in Wisconsin, spending by outside groups dropped sharply in the state Supreme Court race. We've talked about this a little as the race was going on. But a new report says that spending by outside groups on Wisconsin's most recent state Supreme Court election dropped sharply from the levels seen just a year ago. That's according to new analysis by Wisconsin Democracy Campaign, a group that tracks campaign spending. So the April 7th election for a seat on the state's highest court ended up with the good old-fashioned shellacking. Democratic-backed state appeals court judge Chris Taylor defeated Maria Lazar, appeals circuit court judge Maria Lazar, set the court up for a 5-2 liberal majority. Once Taylor she takes the bench in August. So Taylor's 20-point victory was buoyed by a considerable fundraising advantage. Her campaign, as a reminder, raised nearly $5.6 million. Lazar's campaign only raised $900,000, but new data from Wisconsin Democracy Campaign shows that Lazar also struggled to bring in support from outside groups that have spent millions of dollars in some of the state's recent court races. For the April race, more than $1.1 million was spent by liberal or pro-Taylor groups, while less than $163,000 was spent by conservative or pro-Lazar groups. We already know the next state Supreme Court election will be next April. That's for the seat currently being held by conservative Justice Annette Ziegler, who announced last month she is not going to seek another 10-year term. Liberal Clark County Judge Lindsey Brunette has already launched her campaign for the seat. Like the day after, I think on April 8th is when she announced. And I'm not being facetious on that. I think she announced right away. So there's it. Less money coming in this year, but we'll see if that changes for next year, because conservatives and Republicans will probably be a little worried that they would, if they lose, then it'd be 6-3 or 6-1 rather. 6-1. I don't know where I do my math. Some more stuff you need to know. The president's approval rating on the economy has slumped over the past month as the Iran war drives prices higher. That according to a new AP NORC poll, with even Republicans showing less faith in his leadership. The findings from the Associated Press NORC Center for Public Affairs Research shows a president who is struggling with unfulfilled promises to tame inflation and testing Americans' patience with a conflict in the Middle East that has dragged on longer than expected. Trump's approval rating on the economy dropped to 30% in April, from 38% just a month before. A similarly low share of U.S. adults, 32%, approve of the president's leadership on Iran, which is unchanged since last month. The president's policies and pronouncements have often been at odds with each other. Gasoline prices, which he promised to slash, jumped after the U.S. attacked Iran in February. His tariffs have kept much of the economy in limbo. Now, only 33% of U.S. adults approve of Trump's overall job performance. That's down slightly from 38%, but still down and still very low. Trump's failing approval ratings could create problems for his party as it tries to defend House and Senate majorities in the midterm elections. The poll finds that Trump is especially weak on cost of living, and enthusiasm about Trump's performance has waned over the past year, even among his own supporters. Yes, cost of living. You know, I know they like to say that cost of living and affordability is a made-up term. It's not made up for you and I, who actually have to decide if we can afford things. And in a lot of cases, we cannot. And so we're looking for some, and it's not unusual for a president, no matter what party, to be blamed for cost of living and the economy. That's just how it goes. If people are unhappy, and that's how this president got elected, by he played on a lot of different things, which are up for question all the time. But he also played on, he didn't use the term affordability, but he talked about gas prices. He talked about bringing down grocery prices. He talked about all of that without using the word affordability. Then when Democrats say, well, we have an affordability problem, that's because we're highfalutin and use big words, Parker. We use multi-syllabic words to describe things. We don't just go, food costs bad. We say there's an affordability crisis, which means the same thing that he campaigned on, but now it's a made-up agenda. I don't know. I don't think it is. But who am I? All right, when we come back, we're going to take a deep breath. I'm going to try to remember that I have to introduce Swiper Stay, and then we are going to play Swiper Stay. But after that, later this hour, we're going to talk to a transplant surgeon from UW Healthcare. There is an alarming number of people taking themselves off the organ donor registry. That's due to a new proposed rule by the federal government and Medicare and Medicaid. So we are going to talk all about that and what it means for people in Wisconsin who are on the organ donation waiting list and people who are considering donating their organs. So we'll talk all about that as the hour continues. This is Daybreak. I'm Brian Noonan, and this, of course, is the Civic Media Radio Network.
What was that? Dropkick Murphys?
Yes, sir.
That was nice.
Actually, Parker, I have a question for you.
Frank, I have an answer.
What is the music bed that we use that is super 80s sounding? That one. What
Science!
Blinded
Thomas
by
Dolby.
Science, Thomas Dolby.
Blinded by Science, Thomas Dolby.
Da-na-na-na-na-na. That's why every time Molly had homework at science, it was science. Science.
Stop saying that. Damn it.
Dad.
How about no?
Well, at least you watch those movies, so that's good.
Oh, yeah.
Weird science.
Another
Loved
great one.
From my heart and from my hands. Why don't people understand weird science?
God, what a great movie.
How about a nice greasy
pork sandwich served on a dirty ashtray? I like that Brian just gets all my vocal stems that I've been saying over the years because they're my dad's.
I just dropped something in the repository that might be good for a guest. It's an investigation by the Journal Sentinel about Wisconsin. Some Wisconsin sheriffs are deepening ICE ties, others are pulling back. That might be nice to get their investigative team on.
Did you say Wisconsin chefs?
Sheriffs.
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 I did also kind of hear chefs.
You did hear chefs, right?
I did kind of hear chefs.
Listen, I'm not arguing.
I was like, I didn't know the culinary world was taking such a stance for.
Well, some of them are just sick of the people that work in their kitchens.
It's their loss.
Their loss indeed.
All right. We have 15 seconds.
Did I say the Far East? I don't think so.
Let's break out of the bubble and see what's happening out there in pop culture. It's Swipe or Stay on Daybreak.
Hey, I'm ready this time. I can't believe it. I get to introduce Swipe or Stay. This is where we talk about pop culture, and Frank gives us some games, but he's got the rules. I don't have them. Hi, Frank. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for introing, Brian. It's still not as good as when Jamie intros it, but it's good.
Wow.
It's
I cannot be
acceptable.
shamed. Maybe Jamie cares about it more than I do. That could be. Maybe I'm apathetic. Maybe
Parker,
I just...
can you mute his mic? I'm kidding. We need him.
Yeah, I can.
We need him for the show. And I want to hear his opinion on whether to swipe or stay.
Is that how this game works?
That's how this game's going to work. So I'm going to read some pop culture headlines. Brian, you'll get to decide, or at least have a vote, of whether to stay on the story and hear more or swipe on to the next one. Parker, you're also going to get a vote today.
Oh, boy, a vote.
Then if you two knuckleheads can't decide whether to swipe or stay,
a vote.
I'll probably just end up staying. So here we go with story number 1.
Okay.
Late wrestler admits drug use in documentary.
Oh, a late wrestler, so is dead.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm all about wrestling. I watched a little
I know you
WrestleMania
are.
the other day for fun.
Did you really?
I did. It was on. I hadn't watched it WrestleMania in forever, and I saw the man Becky Lynch wrestle.
I don't think
Parker?
I've ever watched any. I'm swiping. I wonder what's going to happen.
We'll say to kill time. Okay, so I'm not a wrestling person either. I don't get it. It's the number one. I just don't understand it.
Yeah.
Don't you understand?
But this is a very popular wrestler. The late Hulk Hogan admitted to taking life-threatening amounts of fentanyl every day to manage his pain while performing for total nonstop wrestling.
Wow.
So apparently this came after his divorce from Linda Hogan in 2009, which led Hogan to start wrestling again because he lost so much money in the divorce. He claims she took all of it.
Okay.
Hulk went on to say, I was taking 80 milligram fentanyls, 2 in the morning, stuffing them under my gums here. I had 2 300 milligram patches of fentanyl on my legs, and they gave me 6 1,500 milligram fentanyl lollipops to eat.
Whoa. Oh, my God. Brother, take your vitamins, say your prayers.
He continued, I went to the pharmacy, and they said, you should be dead. We have never seen a human being take this much fentanyl. That is, wow. I didn't even know.
Wow.
You don't want to hear that from a
Thunderlips, the ultimate
man.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to watch like the actual documentary.
Yeah, do we have a name of the documentary?
How does this start?
Do we have any info on the documentary?
I don't have it pulled up right now. I was more focused on the drug use story. I know that a Hulk Hogan documentary is coming out.
Okay, I'll watch that for sure.
Yeah, I didn't even know that.
Wow.
I think that'd be the last place I'd turn and be like, what's fentanyl going to do?
And why is it in a lollipop? That seems dangerous and irresponsible.
Crazy.
Yeah. All right. Good start, Frank.
Thank you. We're moving on to another sports story. Mike Vrabel has officially come out and makes a statement on the controversy.
All right. I knew you were going to. I saw the headline. I didn't read the story because I knew.
You're like, it's going to be in there.
I'm like, Frank is going to continue this story with Vrabel and the reporter.
It's so good. How are you not entertained by this?
All right. I'll stay just to placate you.
Journalistic integrity.
All right. We're continuing the story. We're staying.
I knew Parker would stay.
I know he would too.
So I'm just going to read the statement because that's all we have, and I want to hear your thoughts on it. He said, those are comments and questions that I've answered for the team and with the team, and we'll keep those private and to ourselves. When he was talking about, he wanted to talk to the team first before he addressed anything.
Okay.
He said, I care deeply about this football team, and I'm excited to coach them. I also know that I'm going to attack each day with humility and focus. And what I can promise you is that my family, this organization, the team, the staff, the coaches, everybody, our fans, and most importantly, will get the best version of me going forward. And that's what I know. I'm excited to do that.
Yeah, but did you knock boots? That's what we want to know.
He doesn't say if they knock boots or not. He's just said it was a bad look, and he's going to commit to doing things the right way in the future. Now, Brian, if that's not a backdoor admission of guilt,
wow,
I don't know what is.
I'm going to live a better life, which means now I just won't hold hands or gaze deeply into another woman's eyes in public.
Well, and he also said he had tough conversations with my family. What were they?
Whoa.
What did your wife say? Are you guys still together?
Yeah.
Very interesting.
When's the last time you and Diana talked? I have so many questions. Just come out and say, look, at first you were denying them big time. And now you're just apologizing for it being a bad look.
Well, and then there's the backlash because she quit her job. She was basically let go, and he still got his job, which is a nice double standard, a little slut shaming, as the kids like to say. And not that she is, but that's what it's called. There's the double standard. The woman gets fired or has to resign. But then allegations come out about her from other reporters that, who knows? The whole story is very tawdry. And I
not to dismiss any double standards going on, but I do, again, there's always been a difference between journalists always hold themselves to the highest standards.
Yes.
Let me tell you, football coaches and football players, not so much.
No standards.
None. As long as you win games, you're fine by me.
Right.
Primetime Emmy Award winner shuts down reboot chance.
Well, if it's shut down, I'm going to swipe.
Yeah, I'm swiping too.
A-list star cut from upcoming movie.
Oh, I love it when the A-listers fall off the A-list. I'll stay.
We can stay on this real quick. Yeah.
It's real quick. Parker, I'm really sorry to break your heart, but Sydney Sweeney's appearance in The Devil Wears Prada 2 has been cut from the movie.
Oh God. Oh God.
I know. Sources say it was a small part, but Sweeney was supposed to cameo in the opening scene of the movie as herself. Apparently, the filmmakers decided that it just didn't fit. So we won't be seeing Sydney Sweeney.
Oh.
It's all the boys accompanying their significant others to the theater. She won't be there. That's Swiper Stay.
Boo-hoo. Thank you, Frank. Always fun. We do that every morning at 7:20. After the news, we're going to talk to Dr. Nicole Neidlinger. She is an organ transplant surgeon at UW Health because there's a lot of changes. This Civic Media Network.
All right.
These have been the worst pop culture news days of all time. Dude, this is for everybody on the live stream. We're really scraping the bottom of the barrel. I need these TMZ reporters and these E-News reporters to go out and do some real digging about real celebrities.
Get out of DC. There's your problem.
We got stuff going on. We got a segment we got to do every day.
What are we doing?
Well, we could always pad a little more if you need it.
No, I'm kidding.
I know.
Thank God we have Mike Vrabel fooling around.
There's always celebrity news.
Knocking boots.
Knocking boots.
Knocking boots. I've never heard knocking boots.
You've never heard knocking boots?
I don't think so.
This show is just an awakening for you, Parker. You're gonna leave someday to
learn
go on to
so
bigger,
many
better
bad
things, and you're
things.
gonna have so many like weird pieces of trivial knowledge in your head.
I don't remember what it was that I said, but Frank, I remember you saying that you told Mrs. Frank that I said something.
Yeah, you said dog.
Dog.
I said,
okay, that's what it was.
And she
she's
said,
like,
"Oh
"You're
my
ruining
God,
that boy."
you're ruining that poor kid." I said, "Good."
I don't know
Horrible
if
influence.
ruining is quite the,
Parker, just
quite
wait till I come back up to Madison for a night on the town and we don't have a show the next morning.
Oh, that would be fun.
It will be fun.
It's gonna be nuts.
That would
All
be
right, looks like we got Nicole here. Good morning.
Hey, morning.
Morning, Nicole. Thank you for being here.
Sure. Thanks for having me.
Would you pronounce your last name for me?
Neidlinger.
Okay, that's what I said before. So, good deal. So we got about 3 minutes before we come back, right, Parker?
Yep, we got 3 minutes here.
Okay. And you guys are doing a show just on organ donation, or this is
just this segment?
Oh, just this segment. I see.
Just this
Okay.
segment. Yeah.
Where are you based?
I'm the station. The station headquarters is in Madison, and we're on 7 stations across the state. And I'm broadcasting from the southwest suburbs of Chicago.
Okay.
My co-host is on vacation. Usually she's in the studio in Madison, and then I'm here.
Oh.
But since she is gone, just me.
Flying solo.
And are you in Madison?
I am. I'm in Madison, yeah. Our organ donation program's affiliated with UW. And yeah, we're in Madison, but we oversee organ donation in most of the state.
Nice.
Yeah, we go pretty much from Madison all the way north on seven different markets. So
yeah, and we're always streaming on our social
streaming
media
online,
as well.
yeah, streaming on YouTube, streaming on Facebook.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, and then
Really,
the
cool. Thanks for doing
podcast
it.
segment. We got so the word we'll get the word out.
Okay. Yeah, for Donate Life Month to sort of encourage people, or
When is Donate
it's in
Life?
April. It's in April every year. Yep. And we try to do, I mean, we are always doing a lot of community outreach type stuff, but definitely in April, it's focused a lot. Maybe we can, I mean, how long do you have? 10 minutes or so, right?
About 14 minutes, yeah.
Oh, that's long. Okay. Well, I'm happy to help people. Hopefully I can convince people that organ donation is still a generous, altruistic thing to do.
Yes.
I think it is, but there's been so much negative media and press lately, you know.
Well, that's what I don't understand. So that's obviously one of the things I'm going to ask you about, because I don't understand why the negative. Tell me the name of the month again.
Donate Life Month.
Donate Life Month.
Yeah. And we have, like, Wisconsin, is got a really good history of a lot of people signing up on the donor registry historically, and we have a really good overall compared to the nation. We have always, in terms of organ donation, had a favorable, like, our population supports it. We have a lot of people who are donors.
All right. Sorry to cut you off here. We got a couple of seconds here. I'll give you hand signals when we get down to our last couple of minutes, just so you know.
Okay, got it.
Local voices, statewide impact. It's Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
Good morning. Welcome back. I'm Brian Noonan. This is Daybreak. Jamie's on vacation. She will rejoin us on Monday. And this is, well, it's time to talk a little bit about organ donation, something we don't talk about enough. April, if you did not know, and I did not, is Donate Live Month. If you're thinking about organ donation, you want to get involved with organ donation, donatelive.net is the website. And the reason we're bringing this up is for the first time in 14 years, the annual number of deceased organ donations in the U.S. has declined. This comes at a time when currently there are 1,500 people in Wisconsin that are waiting for an organ transplant. Last month, the Versiti Blood Center of Wisconsin reported an alarming increase in the number of Wisconsinites who have removed themselves from the state organ donor registry. And all of this comes as the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services proposed a new rule earlier this year for the organ donation system in the U.S. Why are people taking themselves off the registry? What's it going to mean for patients in Wisconsin? And how will these new rules affect organ donation, not only here in Wisconsin, but across the country? Dr. Nicole Neidlinger joins me. She's a transplant surgeon with UW Health, as well as an associate professor in the Department of Surgery, Division of Transplantation at the University of Wisconsin School of Medicine and Public Health. Doctor, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. This is a very interesting subject.
Hey, Brian, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
So for those who aren't familiar, let's start with the basics. How does organ donation process work in Wisconsin?
It works in Wisconsin similar to how it does in all of the states. So people can decide before the end of life what they want to have happen with their organs after they die. And that would be designating their wishes according to the donor registry. I think most people do that at the DMV because it's the interface where most people interact, but you can also make your wishes known online at donatelifewisconsin.org or heroicdeed.com. If you don't know or decide what you want to have happen with your organs after you die, it will be asked of your legal surrogates if they're in that unfortunate situation. And I think for a lot of families, they are very surprised to be in that situation. And in making decisions at that time. So I think it does help if people are able to decide before and their wishes can be honored. And then one of the things that I think is important to say is that we only remove organs from people after they've died. There's been some press that I think has been misleading and perhaps turned people off to organ donation that has proposed that deceased donors are giving their organs before they die. And that's not accurate. So in order to donate your organs, you do have to die in a hospital, which is sort of different from donating tissues, I guess, if you will. So
there is a difference because I can donate a kidney now while I'm alive, but obviously I can't donate one of my lungs or my heart or my pancreas or any of those things. So is a kidney considered tissue then rather than an organ?
So you can donate a single kidney or a part of your liver, like parts that would not result in your death. Yes, when you're living. But for deceased organ donation, you have to have died to donate sort of the vital organs that you can't live without, and donate both kidneys, both lungs, heart, liver, pancreas, intestine.
Is that why we're seeing? Pardon me. The decrease in people taking themselves off the registry, because it doesn't. Most people, common sense, you would think, well, they'd know you can't donate your organs while you're alive.
I think there's been some articles in the press and media which have, suggested that organ donation is something other than generous and altruistic, which I think is probably unfair to a lot of the families and donors who have given this amazing gift. There's some stories in the media where I think have not painted the entire picture accurately. And there's some fear that comes along with that. So people hear these stories and they become worried. I often hear people say things like, oh, if I sign up to be a donor, people won't try to save me in the hospital, or they feel like somehow not everything will be done for them. And that's not accurate. So in the hospital, everybody's efforts are on saving someone's life before we would even consider organ donation. So those types of stories, I think.
Now, just to clear that up, because that obviously is not right. The doctors are going to try to save you. They're going to do their best. Do you even, if I were to come into an emergency room and I had trauma, do the doctors even know that I'm an organ donor when they start working on me? Does that even come into effect? Just to clear up people's minds and get rid of that worry. They're working on me to save me right in the moment, correct?
Right. They would not know. So what would happen is if the doctors working on you would not know, the health team there. And then if it became to the point that either you had died in the hospital or you were, close to dying, they would refer as a potential organ donor only after all efforts have been exhausted to save your life. And then the donor network would be able to access the registry and find out if you had made your wishes known. But that's not even activated until all efforts have been exhausted.
You have to be pronounced dead at the hospital or dead wherever before anything can progress.
Before your organs are taken out, yes.
Yes, of course. All right. Well, can you quickly, before I want to get into Donate Live Month and and how people can get involved in all that, but I do wonder about this new rule that's been proposed by the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid. Could you explain that and how it might affect the current organ donation system?
Well, I think, Medicare and Medicaid is under Secretary Kennedy. There was a recent announcement that they did where they, talked about just doing some modernization and reform to the whole system. So to modernizing the IT structure, which I think there's a lot of aspects of that which are overdue and needed, and modernizing how the system that oversees organ donation. But in general, and I think that happened in that hearing as well, like Secretary Kennedy mentioned, he had a family member who was an organ donor. I think part of the effort is to restore public trust, which is a big, important aspect of keeping organ donation the altruistic, generous thing that I think it is. We have so many families who, on their worst day, consider others and say, my person hadn't made their wishes known, but this is aligned with who they are and their wishes, and we want to save another person. So I think getting public trust back, I know, is a priority of the current, CMS and HRSA administration, and of course we applaud that. Our whole industry relies on public trust and organ donation.
It's amazing to me, as I'm an organ donor, because I figure once I'm dead, I got parts. If somebody can use them, I don't know how much I've beaten them up, but if somebody can use them, good for them. I think that should be a lot of people's mentality. What do you hear from people who are hesitant? And we can get into Donate Live Month too. People who are hesitant to make that, past what you said before about believing some of the misinformation about, harvesting organs while you're still alive and all that hogwash. When people are just, for some reason, they're hesitant. They're like, I don't know. What would you tell somebody to encourage them that maybe this is the right choice for you, or it is definitely the right choice for you?
I mean, I think one, in terms of like the compelling reasons, as you mentioned, there's 1,500 people in Wisconsin who, for them, they have no other option. I mean, if you have end-stage liver disease, end-stage heart disease, there's no other option besides a transplant. So I think doing something generous for another person is a compelling reason. But in terms of the myths that people say, a lot of times I hear people say, almost like what you were just saying, like, oh, I think I'm too old or too sick, or my organs aren't, any good. And the pool of people we're considering as donors has really expanded. There was a donor recently who was 100 years old. So I think
wow.
age doesn't rule people out. We've had, I mean, it's really tragic, but even newborn infants have been organ donors if something happens to them at birth. I think people can be donors even if they have diabetes, high blood pressure, hepatitis even. There's just a lot of expansion of the donor pool because it's the only option for the people on the wait list who have organ failure. So I think that's probably one that I hear often about. People think they're too old or too sick.
Even if one organ gives out and that's your cause of death, your other organs were probably still working. So give that a Dr. Nicole Neidlinger is my guest. She's a transplant surgeon with UW Health. She's also an associate professor in the Department of Surgery Division of Transplantation at the University of Wisconsin School of Medicine and Public Health. All right, so I mentioned that April is Donate Live month. You can go to donatelive.net. You can also go to donatelivewisconsin.org. What is Donate Live month? What's the purpose, and what are we hoping that people will understand or learn from this awareness month?
I mean, I think it's really important, again, like bringing it back to public trust, to educate the public about and sort of rectify the myths and misconceptions that are out there, especially in the face of some of the negative media stories, and remind people that donating their organs is an amazing thing to do. People often say things to me like, it allowed my person to have a legacy. And for our family, it was, the only time we felt like we had to make a decision in this really tragic thing that happened to us. I think the reason for Donate Life Month is to sort of celebrate the people and the families who do this amazing work and offer help for others in their worst day. So I think I personally want to say thank you to all the families who may be listening, who've lost their loved one, who donated their organs.
That is the ultimate gift, and you've mentioned it several times, being altruistic and caring about other people, but it is really the ultimate gift. And even if you're narcissistic, you get to think that a piece of you will carry on long after you're gone. So it's you, even if you're not the most altruistic person, you can still do this and feel good about yourself for whatever reason, reason you have. We mentioned the 1,500 people in Wisconsin that are on the transplant list. Are there average wait times? Are some of these people, because through my life, I've heard people are on the wait list for years and years waiting for an organ. And do the organs, again, this is a basic question that people who are considering organ donation might not know, but the organ can come from anywhere. It doesn't have to come from Wisconsin. If you're on the Wisconsin list, you can get an organ from anywhere, right?
Yes, that's true. Yeah. So the wait list across the nation, I'd say about 80% of the folks are waiting on a kidney, because there's a lot of people with end-stage kidney disease in the United States, and many of them are on dialysis. You're right that the wait times are extensive. So it's depending on people's blood type, they're usually waiting at least a year, sometimes 5 years for kidneys. And a lot of them die waiting. Unfortunately, they just get too sick to even continue on dialysis. For these folks, it's really their only option. And organ donation is the way to get them off dialysis and return them to sort of working normal life. And
it's tough. Now, I mentioned donatelivewisconsin.org and donatelive.net, which is for Donate Live Month. Where you said just go to where can people register? If listening to you today, doctor, they said, you know what, it's not on my driver's license, I should do this, I feel like I want to do this, how can people get on the registry to donate their organs?
They can do it at the DMV, but of course nobody loves
nobody wants to go to the
exactly. Nobody wants to go unless it's there.
That's like donating an organ in real time. I don't want to go to the DMV.
It's not the best. So a much easier way to do it would be to make your wishes known online. So one of the websites that I think we endorse is heroicdeed.com. There's also Donate Life Wisconsin. That would be .org. So both of those would be ways to do that.
Terrific. Well, thank you for the information, Dr. Nicole Neidlinger, a transplant surgeon with UW Health. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing the information. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
Be back with more. This is Daybreak on the Civic Media Network.
All right.
Thank you, doctor. That was great.
Okay, good.
Really good stuff.
Yeah, I was hoping that we would get hitting most of the points that some of your people may ask about or something. How many listeners do you have?
Frank, I have no idea.
Okay.
I don't know. A lot. We'll just say a lot. I'll say a lot. I'll say a lot. We're actually a fairly new show. We just started officially. Well, we started in January, and then it was official was it February, Parker?
I think end of February.
End of February.
Yeah, I believe this is our 43rd show, I think, officially.
So we're relatively new. But if there's any other organ donation news or things, we will reach out, or you feel free to reach out to Frank if something comes up big that you want to talk about.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thanks for having me.
We appreciate it. Thanks, Doctor.
Thank you, Nicole.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
How many listeners we got, Frank?
I don't know. We're too new. We don't have any data.
How many do you want?
We're in diary markets.
I want all of the listeners, Frank.
Yeah. Next time somebody has, how many listeners do you have?
All of them.
Mm-hmm.
All of them.
Broadcasting straight to
we
your
have
brain.
The best. We have the smartest.
We have
the
good,
most
loyal listeners. Yeah, I never, I don't know. We talk about Cume and stuff like that. I don't know how many people are listening.
Good old Cume.
I count if one person is listening, I'm doing the show for them. And if they're not listening, I'm doing the show for me.
If you're not listening, we're screwed.
And obviously, if I'm not listening, nobody rejoins. That's the deal.
Anybody on the live stream that ever wants to go into how ratings work?
Oh God,
it's real fun.
Thank you.
And when I say real fun, I mean it is the worst. You want to talk about something that needs an overhaul?
Let's talk about quarter-hour sweeps, Frank.
Let's talk about TSL.
Oh, time spent listening for the uninitiated.
It says you got a lot of listeners, but they didn't listen quite long enough. Therefore, you lose everything. You're in last place and you're fired. That's how TSL works.
Yes, they don't listen long enough. I don't know.
You think I'm kidding?
Oh, I'm not.
I'm not.
No, I know you're not.
I
know you're not.
That is
we needed them listening for 12 minutes. They listened for 11 and a half minutes.
You lost the quarter hour, you idiot. You're fired. Wow. That's how that goes.
Yeah.
It's
a dog-eat-dog world, and I'm wearing meat underpants.
What'd you say, Parker?
You guys make me more excited for my career. Always.
You should be.
We got 10 seconds to our back here.
Lame.
Lame.
Wisconsin wakes up here. Back to Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
Good morning. Glad you're here on Daybreak. Yes, I say that a lot, and I do mean it a lot. So we're glad you're here. If you want to get involved, of course, 855-75-CIVIC is the number. Phone, text. I don't know how that technology works. You can do either one from that number, but do it. 855-752-4842. I don't know if you were watching Capitol Hill yesterday, but Donald Trump's Federal Reserve Chair nominee Kevin Warsh testified before Congress amid the Powell probe, the Powell probe, because the president has been at odds with Jerome Powell, the current head of the Fed. He doesn't like him because he won't lower interest rates. He doesn't do what the president says, and so he wants somebody new in there because his term is up in August, even though, just a reminder, in case you forgot, Jerome Powell was appointed by Donald Trump. So, like a lot of people in the Donald Trump universe, he likes you till he doesn't like you. And now we're in the phase where he does not like Jerome Powell. But yesterday, his selection for the chair of the Federal Reserve, Kevin Walsh, testified in a Senate confirmation hearing as his nomination faces bipartisan opposition. And man, it got dicey. The opposition centers on a federal criminal investigation into the central bank's current leader. The probe into Fed Chair Jerome Powell focuses on alleged false testimony to Congress about an office renovation, and that threatens to derail or delay Warsh's nomination. You remember when Powell publicly, on camera, went against what Donald Trump said about the cost and corrected him in front of everybody. And that seemed to be the beginning of the end for Jerome Powell, that and the fact that he will not just lower interest rates willy-nilly. Anyway, Warsh voiced support for the independence of the Fed in its role setting interest rates. He used the term monetary policy to describe the central bank's task of adjusting benchmark borrowing costs. His quote, monetary policy independence is essential. Monetary policymakers must act in the nation's interest. He is a former Fed official, by the way, this Kevin Warsh. So he defended the right of public officials, including presidents, to voice their views on interest rate policy, saying such comments do not infringe on Fed independence. Sure, unless you are, as was mentioned not only by Elizabeth Warren, but John Kennedy, the senator from Louisiana, unless you are a human sock puppet, which is how Warsh was described a couple of times. He said he welcomes collaboration with the White House and Congress on non-monetary matters that are part of the Fed's remit, such as banking regulation. Well, then, Senator Elizabeth Warren from Massachusetts, she's a top Democrat on the committee. She responded directly to Warsh's defense of a president's right to criticize the Fed, saying the federal investigation of Powell accounts to a pressure campaign that extends beyond public criticism of Fed policies. Her quote, "You said it perfectly fine for the elected officials to state their views on interest rates, but that's not what Donald Trump is doing." Warsh may become a sock puppet atop the Fed, Warren said. Later in the hearing, he was asked by John Kennedy from Louisiana if he was going to be a sock puppet for the president, and he said, absolutely not. We'll see. We'll see if that's the case. There was one of the most condescending comments from Elizabeth Warren. Warsh was answering some question, and he didn't answer the question. He went round and round about it, and she just said in her most dismissive ways, adorable, and then moved on. I was like, oh, wow, you just got pwned by Elizabeth Warren in front of a congressional committee. When asked by John Kennedy if he would be a sock puppet, he said, "I'm honored the president nominated me for the position, and I'll be an independent actor if confirmed as chairman of the Federal Reserve." Raise your hand if you believe that statement. Okay, nobody here raising their hand. Are you raising your hand where you are? I don't think so. We know that the president likes to replace people with people who are more adaptive to his whims. Even though he appointed, again, Jerome Powell, now Jerome Powell is saying, listen, the Fed is supposed to be an independent agency. You don't run the Fed. Well, now he's got to go. He's staying till his term is up. He's under investigation. I'm sure once his term is up, the investigation will go away because there'll be no more reason to go after him. But now Donald Trump is handpicking somebody who is going to, for better or worse, do exactly what he says. So we'll see how this plays out. It is, I think, these committees, now they push Mark Wayne Mullen through very fast, but I think they're starting to wise up where at least there's some debate over some of these potential appointees rather than just rubber stamping everybody and letting them go through. But we'll have to see how it goes. Quickly, before we go to the news, I want to remind you that you can keep up with the show all the time. How, Brian? Well, you can download the free Civic Media app. That means you can listen not only to this show whenever you want, but you can listen to all the other great things on Civic Media. Maybe you want, after you've been bombarded with news and information and hilarity all morning, you think to yourself, I need some top 40 hits. I need some country music. I need something else. Use the free Civic Media app. Now, you want to listen to something we did. Maybe you missed our really informative interview on organ donations, and you want to go and listen to that again. Well, listen to the podcast. Go to Spotify All the cool kids podcasts are on Spotify. Go to Daybreak with Brian and Jamie. You can subscribe and you can hear all our stuff. And while you're there, maybe check out Crafty Brewers, Tales Behind Craft Beer. Subscribe to both. Listen to Daybreak with Brian and Jamie first. You want to talk about beer, you can do that too. Listen to Crafty Brewers. There's a plug for me. But you can also go on Facebook and Instagram, search Daybreak with Brian and Jamie, and subscribe to our social channels. We got a lot going on. We are very, very accessible, and we're glad you're here, so we want you to come along with us on all those adventures. When we come back, it'll be time for headlines, stuff you need to know, and a whole lot more if you're listening on WMDX. We'll talk to you tomorrow, or jump over to the app or the Facebook or the YouTube stream. It is the Civic Media Network. 5950, I know. Why can't I get that 5950? I'm going to feed the dogs so I don't have to hear Frank chastise me. I'll be right back. Show within a show. Carry on without me.
Can't believe that, Frank. He's running away. How's it going, live stream? Having a good start to the day? This is the part of the show where I cannot leave. I probably could leave, but I shouldn't leave, just in case. And Brian, he's got to take care of the dogs. He had an accident overnight, one of the dogs. Now he's got to make sure they're all good, get their vittles, get the food. Frank, I have no idea what Frank is doing. Frank, if I had to guess, is getting coffee. Although he usually does that at 7. One of life's wonders. I don't know what he's doing. He's just a little black box underneath the screen here for me. I see his name, I see his mic is off, and his camera is off. I don't know what he's doing.
Do you want me to pop on, or should I just let you keep going?
Whatever you want, Frank.
Is you're just monologuing.
I monologue to myself.
Do you know what the funny part is? Through all of that, not one person left this live stream.
I know. That's the fun part. Is that they're
wanna,
dedicated.
Here,
like,
you can do a quick
what's he gonna
producer, ask me anything. Oh, one just went.
Oh.
R.I.P.
I blame you.
If you have any questions about radio or producing, sports, anything for Parker and I, feel free to drop a comment. You could text, you could post right into the chat, whatever you got.
Big question there for Mr. Plow King. Coffee, coffee, coffee. That, not to go English on you here.
Go ahead.
That coffee cup looks very posh.
It's so funny enough.
Did you get it while you're in Paris?
No.
Oh.
This is from my wedding registry.
Crate
and Barrel, Parker. Crate and Barrel.
Crate and Barrel? All right.
You see, you get married, and then people give you a lot of things.
See, I was looking yesterday. I RSVP'd for a wedding this summer, and I was looking at the registry, and I'm like, okay, there's some things that are $15.
Yeah.
There's other things that are like $200. I'm like,
it's not even, dude. I've seen some bananas.
Oh, I'm
wedding.
Sure.
Real quick,
sure.
Mr. Plow King, did Frank bring the rat to Wrigley last night? I did not,
you?
And I've been wanting to go, but I feel like whenever it's nice out.
Did the rat scare you? Are you not going to go? Because
no, dude. I used to when I used to walk to work,
Wrigley.
I'd see rats running through Millennium Park all the time as I'd walk past on Michigan Avenue to get to my building. Because I'd be walking at like 5 a.m, and there'd always be like 1 or 2 rats per morning running past me. But no, wedding registries are interesting because this is very nice, right? It's very posh.
Oh, yeah.
Everything matches.
Oh, yes. I was going to comment on your very nice coffee cup. You look very high-end.
Doesn't
very
it look
bougie.
posh? Yeah.
Like 2 idiots getting married in their, I think we were in our late 20s at that point. Don't need 8 of everything.
we've been having that conversation in the house now about how registries have changed over the years, because when I got married, everybody registered for crystal and china.
Right, and nobody
uses it. Molly is like, no, she didn't want it.
I agree.
And even there were sets of it from my aunt or things that they left for Molly, and Molly's like, I'm never going to use it. We have 12 place settings of Waterford crystal, number of different size glasses, plus China. Yeah, plus China, plus then different China for Thanksgiving and different China for Christmas. And it's insane. And now Molly's not registered for that. She's registered for all kind of bougie stuff. Something got delivered yesterday from my sister-in-law for a shower gift. It's a towel warmer.
Ooh.
And I'm like, Dude. Are you kidding me? And she's like,
no, that's awesome.
No.
That's so awesome.
Towel warmer.
No, that is a great.
You suck.
No, what are you talking about?
Towel warmer,
dude. It's cold.
Towel warmer.
Doesn't she live in Pittsburgh? It's cold,
and she's coming back to Chicago, I think. So yes, it's cold. But no, it's. I mean, I know that's what the registry is for, things that you wouldn't really buy yourself, and
Correct.
and you put some things on there that people could go in because people like to buy group gifts, and so you put things on there, and. Yeah, I said the same thing. I'm like, seriously? Does she forget where she came from? I said, this is the most bougie thing I've ever heard.
That's right.
And Debbie's like, yeah, don't you know who you're talking about? I was like, yeah, but okay.
Who cares? Why are we knocking people for liking nice things?
I'm not. If she likes it, good for her.
No, this is the show now.
10 seconds. If you want to talk about wedding registries,
tomorrow.
You have to wait till 3D.
Bring this up to start the show tomorrow.
Sounds good.
Local news, community stories, and the conversations that matter most. Now, more Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
Welcome to Hour 3 of the Big Show. We're glad you're here. I'm Brian Noonan. Jamie will be back with us on Monday. You can always get involved, though, whether Jamie's here or not. 855-75-CIVIC, 855-752-4842. So jump on in. Welcome to everybody all along the network, except the folks at WMDX who went away. But hopefully you've come over to the YouTube stream, where if you are watching on the YouTube stream, you got a preview of what now is going to be our opening segment tomorrow, because we got into a little debate after I ran back up from feeding the dogs. So yeah, that'll be a fun conversation. Be with us tomorrow morning right when the show starts. But right now, we've got to go to the Middle East. We must go to Iran. We have headlines coming out of the war. Let's start with this. President Trump said Tuesday the United States was indefinitely extending its ceasefire with Iran a day before it was to expire, as a new round of peace talks was on hold. Pakistan had planned to host a second round of talks, but with the White House suspended Vice President Vance's planned trip to Islamabad as Iran rebuffed efforts to restart negotiations. Iran has not yet responded to Trump's announcement of the ceasefire extension. They're not real happy. In other headlines, U.S. forces have boarded an oil tanker previously sanctioned for smuggling Iranian crude oil in Asia, the Pentagon said yesterday, as it puts into place a global warning to track down vessels tied to Tehran. The tanker is the second vessel linked to Iran that has been intercepted, by the U.S. military. Iranian Foreign Minister on Tuesday called the U.S. blockade a breach of the ceasefire and said, quote, striking a commercial vessel and taking its crew hostage is an even greater violation, end quote. Yeah, I've said this before. I think keeping that blockade in place during a ceasefire and potential negotiations is not a good move. Two ships earlier attacked Wednesday by Iran's paramilitary Revolutionary Guard now are in the force's custody and are being taken to Iran, Iranian state television reported. It identified the vessels as the MSC Francesca and Epaminondas. The ship's owners could not be immediately reached for comment. The seizures represent an Iranian escalation after the U.S. earlier seized two Iranian vessels as ceasefire talks were due to take place. So this back and forth is not going to bode well for the ceasefire or for future negotiations, I fear. That is just, again, my opinion. Those are the headlines from the Middle East. Now, we turn our attention to other stuff you need to know.
It's a wake-up call in more ways than one. Time for some you need to know.
Yeah. Boy, now our Democrats were on their high horse when we've had to see a number of Republicans leave Congress because of investigations into sexual misconduct and other things. Well, the Democrats are not as pristine as everyone would like you to think. Representative Sheila Serfilius McCormick resigned from the U.S. House of Representatives yesterday, shortly before the House Ethics Committee was set to deliver its high-stakes decision after finding her guilty of violating several campaign finance laws and regulations. In a statement posted to social media, the Florida Democrat denounced what she described as a witch hunt. Boy, that sounds like a familiar term that she co-opted from somebody else. I simply cannot stand by and allow my due process rights to be trampled on and my good name to be tarnished. Rather than play these political games, I choose to step away, she wrote. Within moments of the ethics panel gaveling in to formally determine its recommended punishment, the House clerk read her resignation into the record. After careful reflection and prayer, I've concluded that this is in the best interest of my constituents and the institution that I step aside at this time, she wrote in part in her resignation letter. House Ethics Chairman Michael Guest noted that given the Congresswoman had stepped down, the committee had lost its jurisdiction and would no longer consider sanctions against her. The committee had found that the Congresswoman was guilty on multiple counts of failing to comply with Federal Election Commission regulations and uphold the Code of Ethics for Government Service. The guilty verdict came a day after Serfilius McCormick appeared before the panel for a rare public hearing to face allegations that she stole $5 million in federal disaster funds and used it to bolster her 2021 campaign. So, as much as sometimes we like to demonize certain Republicans, got to demonize the Democrats when they do the exact same thing. And now she's gone, and we'll see what happens. But it's a shame when anybody does this on either side, but it's also a shame now because as we were looking at resignations that were happening in the last couple of weeks, the Republican majority in the House was getting smaller and smaller. Well, now they kept one seat here. All right, some other you need to know. This is troubling as well. Members of the U.S. Armed Services will no longer be required to have an annual flu vaccination shot under a new policy announced Tuesday by Pete Hegseth, the U.S. Defense Secretary. In a video statement posted where? That's right, social media. Good guess. Hegseth described the mandate as overly broad and not rational, and the decision to drop the vaccine requirement as seizing this moment to discard any absurd, overreaching mandates that only weaken our warfighting capabilities. Explain to me, Parker, how a flu vaccine would weaken our warfighting capabilities.
Yeah, you might get a cough for a day.
Getting the vaccine would give you a cough for a day?
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe.
But how does a vaccine that prevents or lessens a disease effect weaken? Well, the answer is it doesn't. It doesn't, Parker. Please don't be an apologist for Whiskey Pete. The policy change applies to active duty, reserve component, and civilian personnel, according to a Pentagon memo that was released yesterday. Hegseth went on to say, if you, an American warrior entrusted to defend this nation, believe that the flu vaccine is in your best interest, then you are free to take it. You should, but we will not force you because your body, your faith, and your convictions are not negotiable, unless you're a woman who's not in the military. Then it's up to us to decide what to do with your body. Anywho, the U.S., here's the irony. You want a little irony, Parker? The U.S. Army developed the first flu vaccine. Yes, at the start of the Second World War, because there was a concern of a repeat of the influenza outbreak of 1918 and its effect on military readiness and combat capabilities. That's what weakens our combat readiness, not a vaccine to prevent said disease. The actual disease. You look like you want to speak.
I believe going back even to the Revolutionary War, I believe General Washington had soldiers vaccinated against smallpox at some point because it was so rampant. And it was, hurting their fighting abilities.
Yes, their readiness, their combat capabilities, and military readiness. Well, so the Army did this. Soldiers served as large-scale test subjects for the program at the University of Michigan. The first widespread use was licensed for the military in 1945, and then it was later passed on to civilians. An annual flu vaccination has been required for service members for more than 80 years. Some exemptions were granted for severe allergies or pregnancy and for administrative reasons, including sincere religious beliefs. Sincere is a big qualifier there. But now, because Pete Hegseth doesn't want a woke military, and I guess woke means believing in vaccines, good luck. Good luck. That's all I can say. In other stuff you need to know, a $6.5 million grant is going to sustain Madison's Children's Museum. We're going to end on a happy note, at least for this part of As You Need to Know. The Madison's Children's Museum will use a $6.5 million gift from a late philanthropist named Jerry Fracci for maintenance projects. Top priorities include repairing stonework, replacing windows, and upgrading ventilation in the museum's basement. Now, the CEO of the museum, Brenda Baker, says yes, she gets that some of these repairs may seem unglamorous. Why aren't we doing something more flashy? But it's all the building's age, so it needs this kind of upkeep, and it costs that kind of money. The Children's Museum, if you don't know and haven't been to it in Madison, is at 1929 or 100 North Hamilton Street. It was built in 1929, the building. So it was originally a Montgomery Ward store. Parker, that was a popular department store at the time. Department stores are some place where you can go in to a brick and mortar building and they carry all sorts of things, from clothes to shoes to appliances to home goods to tchotchkes to jewelry. They got it all in different, say it with me, departments. That's correct.
That makes sense.
Yes, the Children's Museum moved into the building in 2010. This isn't the first time that Fracci has given a big gift. He is a noted Madison philanthropist and businessman. He passed away in January, but he's given to the museum before. The original vision for Overture Center, which opened in 2006, included a space for the Children's Museum. But those plans changed, so in 2005, he donated $5 million to help the museum buy the Hamilton Street building and make it the museum's permanent home. He then, in 2023, gave another $2 million toward building maintenance. So congratulations to him, and thank you to him for giving all that money to keep the Children's Museum going. Replacing the first floor windows is the top of the priority list, along with updates to the elevator and the ventilation system in the basement. That's where many of the museum's exhibits are made. The museum has applied for grants and might change what the pool of money they dip into for projects based on what funding they come in. So if a grant to replace the windows comes in soon, for example, they'll shift that money from Fracci's gift to other projects on the list. So that is a nice way to end stuff you need to know for this hour. It's good. This is why, a lot of times people will complain about the rich. Say they don't pay their share, they don't do this, they don't help people. Well, here's a guy, very successful businessman in Madison, philanthropist, helping out causes that really need to be helped out. So kudos. Some bad news if you are looking for a job in Wisconsin. We will get to that next. So much more to come. Yes, I know, Parker. We got a lot of time. I don't know what we throwing up the peace sign at me. What's up, man?
What's up?
What's up?
2 minutes.
The peace sign. I know we got 2 minutes. I'm not throwing it to break yet.
I just peace.
No, we were done with stuff you need to know. I can only dwell on the negatives for so long, and then
there's a lot of negatives.
Yeah, we gotta. And I'm looking ahead to what we got left on the rest of the show. I wouldn't say negative, but I'm not going to say the most uplifting. But interesting. It's interesting stuff, and I think it needs to be talked about, and we'll talk about it as much as we possibly can. What should we? Oh, I want to plug this too. I want to remind people, because I did it earlier, but I want to remind them again, because I know when we first started our social media pages, Jamie was fixated on them so we could get to a certain number of followers so that we could start showing the stream. We could run the stream.
Yeah.
And now we want to just keep growing because it's important in this day and age. It didn't happen if it's not on the gram, Parker. You know that.
Oh,
so
yeah.
we got to have our Instagram page, Daybreak with Brian and Jamie. We need to up that a little bit. We need to get you on there. You need to go there, please. You don't need to, but I'm asking you a favor. Go there and subscribe to it, like it, and interact. You can leave some comments there too. How about Facebook? A lot of our listeners love Facebook. They like to go there. They watch us stream on Facebook. They want to comment on Facebook. Daybreak with Brian and Jamie on Facebook. Those are all new. So is our podcast on Spotify. And if you think, why do you keep telling us this? It's because you're not telling everybody you know. If you told everybody you know and we had all the subscribers, then we wouldn't have to remind you. So if you're tired of me talking about it, go and subscribe. I'll be grateful. Jamie will be grateful. Frank and Parker, they're apathetic about it, but I will convince them to be grateful and show some gratitude. All right. Do all of that and then download the free Civic Media app. It's crazy. Yeah, I just let the music run out. I felt it coming to a crescendo. I didn't want to go over. I had nothing more to say.
It was a fine finish.
We finished up. We just go away. Now we just we just stop.
I'm done now.
Yeah. It's like, did Brian just get... No, I just got bored of my voice. I was tired of talking. I needed a 3-second break. And I just went, they know where they're listening. And if I can... And we have to do it... the Civic Media Network thing for the network and say, but I always assume people are smart enough to know who we are and what we're listening to. And I know it's a new show, so that's why I do say our names more. This is a little inside programming for you folks in the show within the show. But I do, when I say that, it's not because I think you're too dumb to know who we are or what you're listening to. We just need to tell everybody.
Yeah.
So
we have to make sure that you know.
Right, and then we want it so ingrained in your head that when you tell your friends that you were listening to a show in the morning and they say, who was it? And you go, I don't know, Brad and Josephine. Go, no,
Brad and Josephine.
I don't know who Brad and Josephine are.
No.
Morning chat with Brad and Josephine. No, it's Daybreak with Brian and Jamie. And Frank and Parker.
And Frank and Parker, yes. Very, very small parentheses over on the bottom corner. We're here too.
We mention you. That's all you need. What do you need? Something you need to be on the graphic too? On the logo?
No. God no.
All right. We'll just use your Google picture from before you had your beard. I saw a picture. I follow our old co-producer Dominic on Instagram, and I saw a picture of him. He looks like he's aging backwards. Maybe I didn't realize. Maybe I didn't realize how young Dominic looked or is.
He has a young face.
Yes, and he always wore a hat, so it took away. Yeah. But when he's out there with his little page boy haircut, he looks like a little kid.
Yeah, he does.
I'm like,
Yeah.
He's not weathered like you and I, Parker.
No.
As I put you in the same age bracket and demographic as me.
That's good.
That was
10
nice
seconds.
of me. That was very nice of me.
Want to join in on the conversation? Call or text 855-75-CIVIC. Now back to Brian and Jamie.
Good morning. Yes, I'm Brian Noonan. Jamie's not here. Where is she? She's on vacation. I don't know where she is. She's in an undisclosed location, perhaps in some beachside bunker or working, even though she's not supposed to be. We don't know, but we wish her, we hope she's having a good time and she comes back rested and rejuvenated with us on Monday, because then she will be able to share some of the, I was going to say good news, but some of the news of the day. This just came out. Our good friend Ricardo Torres in the Journal Sentinel published this story, and I've known, interesting side note, Parker, Ricardo, who is now a big-time writer at the Journal Sentinel, started as my weekend producer at another station.
Whoa.
Yes. He is part of, I have a coaching tree too. I have a coaching tree of men and women who have produced for me that have gone on to great things.
What?
So
good things to come is what you're telling me.
I'm telling you, don't write it off now. Right now it may seem very hopeless. But
That's comforting.
There is hope down the road because here's the other lesson. Once you cut yourself loose of me, good things are going to happen. So, I don't know if that's the lesson I want you to take. I want you to stick around as long as you want. But anyway, but he didn't make up these numbers. He just reported on the story. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, Wisconsin job numbers continued to slide in February as unemployment increased to 3.4%. Are you in the process of trying to find a new job? Has the increasing unemployment numbers affected you? I'd love to hear your story and how long you've been looking and what you're looking for. 855-75-CIVIC, 855-752-4842, because sometimes we don't understand the real cost of these numbers until you find yourself in a position where you are looking for work, and it can be very, very tough out there for a number of reasons. One is age, experience, what industries are looking for people to work for them, where you're at in the state. So a lot of things, but I'd love to hear your stories. Total non-farm jobs were 3,019,900, which is a decrease of 10,500 jobs from January and a decrease of 20,000 jobs from this time last year. Much of what the state is experiencing is happening on the national level as well. According to the Wisconsin Department of Workforce Development, the Wisconsin labor market has cooled a bit along with the national economy. But unemployment remains historically low. As he said, the job declines, this economist from the Wisconsin Department of Workforce Development said job declines are something to pay attention to for sure, but the jobs data in March will offer more context. All right, well, we'll see how March plays out when those numbers come out, or March played out when those numbers come out. But does it concern you when, listen, unemployment remains low? That's fine unless you're unemployed and you can't find a job, because then in your house, unemployment remains woefully high. And so it's easy. Economists, statisticians, those kind of folks are always able to use numbers to not lie, but to make things, they can finesse numbers to make them look however they want. So you always have to be a little careful when you're citing those. But again, if you're unemployed, it's high. Unemployment is high. So some other seasonally adjusted observations in the economy here in Wisconsin. Construction continues to add jobs. So that's good if you're a construction worker. Around Wisconsin, there are cranes and construction crews working on projects all over. The industry continues to expand as 800 workers were added in February from January. And during the last 12 months, roughly 10,200 more jobs in construction were added. That brings the total construction workers in Wisconsin to roughly 154,000. So if you're in construction, a good time to be looking for a job. If you're in retail, not a good time, because overall trade is down roughly 9,300 for the last 12 months, and a bulk of that is on the retail trade side, which has seen a decrease of 6,600 workers. Wholesale trade is down 2,700 workers during that period. The biggest hit is in government jobs, which seems a little surprising. So during the last 12 months, government jobs have gone down by roughly 10,000, and in the last month, it's decreased by 5,100. Nationally, much of the attention has been on the federal government. That level of job lost about 2,100 jobs. 0 federal jobs lost between January and February. Yeah, because they fired everybody already. The bulk of the government job decrease has been on the local levels. So right here, 6,500 jobs gone during the last 12 months, including 1,800 in February. State government lost about 3,300 jobs in February, but it's only a 1,400 job decrease during the last year. So it is tough. Parker, you're too young to ever really have been unemployed, aren't you?
Yeah, this is true.
So
I have had to do the whole job search thing, though, obviously.
Job searches are tough. And when you are between positions, it can get very disheartening. Now, my wife is still working. She's got a nice job, but she's at the point where she's putting feelers out to see what else is out there. And after my last radio job, and I was like, I was looking for a quote unquote regular job. Man, it is depressing when you.
Oh, you don't mean the regular world. You mean looking for a job.
I mean looking for a job. Looking for a job is depressing, especially if you get to a certain age. Because at a certain age, no matter how much qualifications you have, they look at you and they go, and they can't actually say that because that's age discrimination. They go, listen, Gramps, you should be out to pasture. What are you still doing working? I go, well, I don't know, because I have a lot of skills, and I've got, But then, what skills do I have? Harping on about things? How many companies are looking for that? What do you do? Well, I tell stories and I complain about stuff. Okay, thank you for your... Who am I kidding? No human actually reads your resume or cover letter. But that's a whole other issue. Yes, when we come back, should the DOJ be used as a weapon of the president? We'll get into that and more. It is the Civic Media Network.
Yeah, applying for jobs was not fun.
No, it is not. And my wife is shocked. She's going, I don't hear back from any of these people.
No.
Yep. Remember when I was telling you the same thing and you felt bad for me? I feel bad for you now.
Yeah.
But it's not a surprise. Because most resumes never get to a person. Unless you have an in.
Yeah.
Like I got my job that was between TMJ and here. I got that contract job because I knew the guy who needed it and he called me.
Yeah.
So it was like, oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah. Gotta have it in. It's who you know, Parker.
That's what they tell me. It's who you know, not what you know.
Yeah, look. Yes. I'll just leave it at yes.
It's just...
A lot of people fail upward. I'll just leave it at that.
Huh.
And that's all I have to say about that. A little Forrest Gump for you.
And that was Forrest Gump.
That was Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
That's a respectable Forrest Gump.
It was.
All right. That, again, another skill that did not come in handy in the job search. Hey, I do a respectable Forrest Gump and a really bad Trump. Okay, thank you for that information. We're talking about data entry, but, it's all good.
Respectable Forrest Gump.
I do a respectable Forrest Gump.
That should be the first bullet point on your resume. Above all other prior experience.
Everything.
Respectable Forrest Gump.
In my professional description, respectable Forrest Gump. Yeah. And then I was using, that's when I would try to use ChatGPT, and now my wife is trying to use Claude to just go, all right, how do we, and then here's the big mistake people make though. If you get help from ChatGPT with your cover letter or something, you have to go in and rewrite it so that it's your words, because now there's programs that people can tell. Yeah. You go, huh? But it's just like, all right, here's my resume. Mm-hmm. This is the job description.
Yeah.
Without adding anything false or taking away what should my resume look like for this job?
Yeah.
Without altering my actual work history. And then it just mine would always come back just a stick figure drawing of a guy hanging himself like he was playing hangman.
Oh,
yeah.
Jesus.
I was like, wow, that does not seem right.
Good. That's not good at all.
Am I not qualified for this position? Maybe I should look somewhere else.
Damn.
All right, I'm out. I get it.
Oh,
well.
Oh, man. How many places? I applied to probably like a dozen places and heard back from one.
Really?
Like
all radio kind of jobs or media jobs?
All media. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. Well, they're lost. We're glad to have you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I don't know. The resume thing is like, because we were always taught like, all right, there's keywords that they're scanning for.
Yes.
Put in the keywords. Like, all right.
I would have ChatGPT put, optimize for keyword search.
And I can do that myself. Like I never ran it through AI or anything. I was like, all right, I can just sprinkle this here, sprinkle that there.
Yeah.
In both the cover letter and the resume. But
yeah, I mean, I would always use words from the job description, and
I'll tell you what. My least favorite thing about it was needing to write a cover letter every freaking time.
That's the worst.
That
cover
sucks.
letters are the worst.
Yeah.
And they say you're supposed to do a new resume for every job, but if they're all like,
you massage the resume.
Yeah, if they're all radio jobs, or they're all this or whatever. Yeah. Here's a tip, and Frank might agree with this. If you want longevity in this business, management is the way to go. I know. I'm the same way. Yeah. But management, there's always going to be suits.
Oh yeah.
And suits always get jobs. And suits always seem to come out on the right side of the unemployment line. So just keep that. Frank, agree or disagree? You can just pop in. You can give us a thumbs up in the chat if you want to, or not.
All right, we got 15 seconds.
All right. No time for you, Frank. What are you doing?
Fairly solid and better than expected. It's Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
I don't know which I am, but I'm one of those two. I'm Brian Noonan. Jamie is the other one. She'll be back on Monday. She is enjoying herself on vacation. And so, yeah, she'll be back. 855-75-CIVIC, 855-752-4842. Should the Justice Department, the DOJ, be used as a weapon by the president? I assume I know your answer, but I want you to tell me why. I want you to hear tell me all about it and tell me your thoughts. Because the Justice Department is barreling ahead with its broad conspiracy investigation into Democratic administration officials, summoning former intelligence officials for interviews and making major shakeups in the Florida-based prosecutorial team. And this is going to surprise you because you're going to say, Brian, well, what did they do? Why are we investigating people? They must have done something. Is it yesterday? Is it last month? Is it? No, my friends. This is going all the way back 10 years to the 2016 presidential campaign. We are still, and by we, I mean our administration, is still trying to relitigate, rehash, find reasons, and just completely fixate on things that happened a decade ago. The wide-ranging investigation is based on an unusual and untested legal theory. That theory is that previous administrations conspired for years to violate President Trump's rights through a series of investigations, beginning with the Obama administration's examination of ties between Russia and Trump's 2016 presidential campaign. Boy, oh boy. There is a lot of therapy that would need to be given to this president to shake his obsession with Barack Obama. He cannot let Barack Obama go. He is constantly referencing him. He is fixated with all the perceived slights that he has endured because of Barack Obama and Joe Biden. He just cannot. How exhausting it must be to live your life as a perpetual victim. To believe that everybody in the world, except for your sycophants, is out to get you. You're the president. You won the election. Relax. You didn't win the 2020 election. It's been proven. Let it go. But he can't. And so now we are going to start doing that because we used the term witch hunt in the story about the Florida congresswoman who just resigned. She said it was a witch hunt. The Russia hoax and witch hunt was Donald Trump's rally cry for a long time. So back to the investigation. The conspiracy investigation, which is among the biggest and most legally complicated that the Justice Department is pursuing as part of Trump's vow to prosecute his political enemies. I'm going to repeat that again because if that does not send a chill down your spine, you're not paying attention. Prosecute his political enemies. It appears to be gaining momentum, too. The probe is part, and that's, if you remember, why did Pam Bondi get fired? Part of it was he was unhappy with the pace at which she was prosecuting his political enemies. He wanted it faster. He wants to vanquish his foes, and he wants to use the Justice Department to do it, and the Justice Department is supposed to be acting independently of the administration. Crazy. All right, so it's the probing part is looking at the decade-old actions of former officials in President Obama's administration, including former Director of National Intelligence James Clapper Jr. and former CIA Director John Brennan, who played significant roles in investigating the Russian ties. The Justice Department is seeking to prosecute the bulk of the case out of the U.S. Attorney's Office in South Florida and has apparently impaneled a grand jury in the Fort Pierce Courthouse, which is part of the Southern District of Florida. Now, why is that important? Well, because the fact that the grand jury has been impaneled this year in Fort Pierce means that the grand jury proceedings probably would be overseen by U.S. District Judge Aileen Cannon. You may recognize that name because she is a conservative favorite who made the controversial ruling to dismiss the federal mishandling of documents indictment against Trump. So the fact that this is all being handled in her district is very telling. If you're thinking, well, is this another coincidence? No. This one's not a coincidence, my friends. This one is on purpose. So let's continue. While the Justice Department hasn't stated the full scope of the investigation, in recent months, subpoenas have gone to Brennan and Clapper, as well as lower-level intelligence officials from that era. The Washington Post reported all of this, and they also said subpoenas have gone to prominent former FBI officials, including the Bureau's former Deputy Director Andrew McCabe, former Bureau Attorney Lisa Page, and Peter Strzok, a former counterintelligence agent who helped lead the probe into the Russian interference in the 2016 election. Parker, you may not remember 10 years ago because you were in high school and probably not really caring too much about politics.
I was in middle school during the
You were in middle school
election. Yeah.
All right. Wow. You are Frank, please get my hip medication. I need I'm feeling very aged at this moment. But this was a big deal, this Russian interference, and there were big investigations, and as there should be, because there was evidence that pointed to the fact that it could be, if not was, true. But now we have to go back. We got to go back and rehash this, and we're going to bring up everybody who did their job. Anybody involved is going to be called to the carpet. On Monday, prosecutors but as with all things, as with all things in the Trump administration, let's jump ahead and then have to backpedal. And that's what they did, because on Monday, prosecutors withdrew those subpoenas and instead asked those subjects to sit for voluntary interviews with investigators, according to a person familiar with the case, to which I would say, if I were one of those people, pound sand. I'm not sitting down with you. I'm not rehashing something that happened 10 years ago that is not true. I was doing my job. I'm in the counterintelligence business. I'm in the FBI. I was given a case, and I investigated it. If you don't like the fact that there was a case, maybe don't get involved in things that seem sketchy, and then we wouldn't have to look into them. The latest steps in the investigation come in the weeks after Trump ousted Attorney General Pam Bondi, and as the upper ranks of the Justice Department are filled with uncertainty over the president's long-term leadership plans for the law enforcement agencies. Yes, that's because Todd Blanche is... Now he is the interim attorney general. Todd Blanche wants to be the permanent attorney general. So Todd Blanche, who was, let's remember, the president's personal attorney, now is acting as the president's personal attorney on a much wider scale as interim head of an agency that is not supposed to be the president's personal attorney. But here we are. So Blanche last week released the first report from the department's weaponization working group, detailing what he described as the Biden Justice Department's improper targeting of anti-abortion protesters. So everybody I had never heard of the weaponization working group. That sounds very big brothery. It sounds very too much surveillance for me. But it is what's happening in the Justice Department now. And again, Is this something that you want to see? Are these reports that make you comfortable with what's going on? And this can also set a very dangerous precedent, because we can only hope, most of us, that in 3 years there will be a different president. That president will then bring in its own Justice Department, but damage will have been done. And to set the president and be able to set the precedent of going back and subpoenaing and then withdrawing those subpoenas, but investigating people in the government who were doing their job. They're not, now, to be clear, they're only being investigated because they are Trump's perceived enemies within the Justice Department and within the government. These are not people who are being accused of financial malfeasance. They're not being accused of sexual assault. They're not being accused of any other kind of government corruption. They are being harassed, investigated, and subpoenaed because they did their job, and not in a follow the rules kind of way that we discussed with ICE agent accountability. This is not the kind of they followed the rules and did something illegal. No, they followed the rules within the law. They followed an investigation where it led them. And just because you don't like where the investigation led them does not mean that you get to suddenly go back and try to relitigate everything and to punish. The Department of Justice is not the dean of students. They don't get to hand out detentions, and they don't get to suspend you. They're supposed to enforce the law, and not the law that is imagined by the person in charge, but the law that is laid out not only in the Constitution, but in the laws of this country. And it is infuriating to me that we have allowed this to happen. And by we, I mean not just the voters. We voted for, this was the will of the people, I guess. We'll see. But Congress, and it does all come back. It does all come back to Congress having a backbone. But we know majority rules, and right now the Republicans are in the majority. Will that change in November? Cross your fingers. Maybe it will. But until then, Todd Blanche is going to act purely in the interest of Donald Trump. There's no reason to believe he won't. All protestations to the contrary, and he's not even making any protestations to the contrary. That's the problem. They're doing all this in the open. So we can see it, but we're not supposed to believe it, right? Cindy chimes in on the text line. You can too, 855-75-CIVIC, 855-752-4842. She says, great, more corruption. Yes, listen, if there's, the slogan should not be Make America Great Again. It should be Make America Grift Again, because this whole administration, and I'm sorry if you are if you're one of the people who backed this and voted for this, I'm sorry if you're offended when I say this whole administration is giving us exactly what they said they were going to do, and so much more when it comes to being above the law and going after their political rivals and enriching themselves at the cost of Americans. It's all going to be there. And I didn't want to waste a lot of time on this, but I saw Tucker Carlson yesterday saying, oh, I'm so sorry I backed Trump. I didn't know. I didn't vote for this. I don't realize this. Hey, shut up, Tucker Carlson. You spent years doing nothing but spreading disinformation. You were lying. I'm not going to even make it nice to say disinformation. You lied to the American people and pushed this agenda for this administration. And now the chickens have come home to roost, and you are not happy to be part of that coop. You did this. You got to own it. You got to live with this. You want to change? That's fine. But you get no grace. You get no forgiveness. You don't get to change your tune all of a sudden and have everybody forget. You want to change your tune and, go forth and sin no more? That's fine. But don't come looking for any sort of exoneration from your past acts, because that is not happening. Okay, listen, enough of that. Let's talk about air travel. That's always pleasant, isn't it? Well, it's coming back again. the ability to stack passengers like cordwood in an airplane. It may be a little more refined than that, but it may not be. So stick around. We'll talk all about it. This is Daybreak. I'm Brian Noonan, and this is the Civic Media Network.
Okay. They're just stacking people on these
Yep.
planes.
Brian.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Did I strike a nerve?
No, I was typing. What's going on?
59.50 for this next break.
I got you. Thank you, Frank. I always appreciate help.
Hey,
I always
it's
appreciate
what
help.
I'm here for.
I'd rather you tell me up front than remind me after I already know I screwed up.
Hey, that's what I figured.
You
don't like Monday morning quarterbacks?
Yeah, I don't like Monday morning quarterbacks. I don't mind reminders. Reminders are great.
They are good.
But
and yes, you are right. Management is the way to go.
Yeah. Right? Because those guys always seem to land on their feet.
Well, what you do is if you're on the hot seat, you make a couple of changes. It's like let's use sports. If you're a head coach of a college football team, right? Parker, let's say you finish sub 500. What do you do?
Oof. Somebody's getting canned.
Coordinators get canned.
Yeah. Probably a coordinator.
You go to the administrator, you go, look.
Offense didn't do anything.
I know it didn't work.
Jim.
Yeah. I know it didn't work. But here's what we're going to do. I'm bringing in an offensive genius. And I'm going to make some changes here. And that's going to solve the problem. Then you buy yourself like 6 or 7 more months.
Right. We got this guy in San Diego who does a killer nighttime show on a CHR station. We're going to bring him in to do mornings here in a major market.
Killer show.
Great. Killer show. A lot of callers. He works those phones. Got some segments.
By the way, it's all pre-recorded.
Yeah. You don't have to worry about that. Low overhead. Everything could be edited.
Everything's great.
Why does he want to do the show live? He doesn't like being live. He has zero talent that way. So we're gonna record everything. And it's going to be recorded here, but it's going to sound like it's somewhere else. And
we're also going to air it in Portland.
Yeah, so a lot of similarities between the markets. Don't worry about that. Chicago and Portland, what's the difference?
Can you go in and take out all references to San Diego? That would be great.
San Diego.
Do you know what that means, Parker?
That means you had to listen to an entire show.
No, I'll tell you after the show.
Oh.
The show after the show?
San Diego means.
Oh, San Diego?
San Diego.
Is that not just San Diego?
Nope.
Oh.
Not according to Ron Burgundy.
Stay classy. 15 seconds.
We're trying.
Parker knows nothing.
Wow. Holy cow. That was a pronouncement.
Now back to more of Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
Yes, sirree. We are in the home stretch of Daybreak. I'm Brian Noonan. Jamie will be back with us on Monday, but you're here now, and I'm glad you are. 855-75-CIVIC, 855-752-4842. What's your least favorite part about air travel? Is it actually getting to the airport? Is it the experience on the plane? What is it your least favorite part of air travel? And the reason I bring this up is because this is a subject that came up a couple years ago, and now it's back rearing its ugly head. I will say at the outset, as a guy who's 6'5", and I know Frank will commiserate with me, 6'5", and without the money to fly first class. And also a lot of the flights I take are in the U.S., and they don't have first class. They may have the exit row if you get really helpful. The room on an airplane, the seat size, the depth of the aisles is woefully small. That seems to be the big problem. And even people who are not as tall as we are, Frank, and not as big as we are have trouble with the seats. Well, in order to remedy that, or if you're cynical, jam more people onto a plane, the idea of double-decker airplane seats is back.
They're bringing it back?
They're bringing it back. The double-level airplane seat concept, this time a designer, Alejandro Nunez Vicente, calls it the ultimate final statement. Now, I urge you to go and find a picture of this because it's intriguing this time. It still is double-decker. So not like bunk beds where, say, Frank would be completely above me, but it angles. So imagine a staggering, like steps. So you have 2 levels of seats. The top level is a little bit ahead of the lower level. And when you recline back, there's a little screen that comes out so you can't be dropping stuff on me. If you're in the bottom seat, it reclines and your feet can go underneath the level in front of you, which would eliminate my knees being banged into by every yahoo who wants to throw their seat back willy-nilly without checking. All right, so it premiered first as a college project in 2020. Then there was a prototype of this in 2022. And over the past several years, this dual-level design called chaise longue, or it's not spelled like lounge. It's something else. Maybe that's French. It's inspired frequent social media frenzy, right, and memes. But for Nunez Vicente, the double-level airplane seat isn't some joke on the internet that started 5 years ago. It is his career. This guy, his passion project remains getting this thing developed. Have you guys seen the pictures of this?
I'm looking at it
Are
right
you
now.
looking at it right now?
I've seen the pictures.
I'm
Parker, from first glance,
Yeah.
what are your qualms? What are your issues with this?
My qualms and my issues. It doesn't look like a lot of space for the legs height-wise. I don't.
No, you're sliding them into an envelope.
Yeah.
You're basically putting them in. If you're my biggest thing is the claustrophobia aspect. I don't like being in a sleeping bag, and my feet if I were sitting on either level, but the lower level especially, my feet would be in what would account for a hard sleeping bag. And your feet are in a box basically. Yeah. So you're right. They have to stay flat. There's not a lot of room width-wise. I can't. How will I man spread? I can't.
You can't man spread on a plane to begin with.
No. Well, I know, but a little. I like to spread my legs a little bit, not obscenely, but I don't want to. I don't want to have to sit on a 4-hour flight with my legs pressed together like I'm being jammed into a pneumatic tube.
I would prefer that over like my legs like scrunched up though. If they're elongated,
yeah.
But what if they're now? Here's the thing. But we're well over 6 feet, you and I.
Yeah.
We don't know how deep that goes. So if it doesn't go deep and you can't even and then now you can't bend your knees because it's not high enough, we're in worse shape than we were before. Because now we're pretzels the whole way.
Can you control how far you slide it though?
I don't think it. No, it doesn't go all the way to bed length. It just reclines a little bit. I would imagine the back doesn't recline a whole lot more than a conventional airplane seat now. From what I've seen, it just looks like that much.
Look, the name of the game is have as many people in seats as possible.
Yes,
to make the most amount of money. Capitalism. It's not going to be comfortable. Let's be honest.
Well,
even if this prototype is designed to be comforting for everybody, they're going to take that and go, this is great. Could we add a couple more, though?
Can we add a couple more rows?
Could we add a couple more? If we just cut back this and just take out a little bit more leg room, we can fit a couple more seats, which is more money.
I agree with you 100%. It would be nice if airlines actually took passenger comfort into account when they were laying this out, but no, we've been talking about this for years. The seat size in airplanes is nothing new. It's not a new phenomenon to discuss. jam more rows in, make the seats a little more narrow. You get a few more people. Then those people are miserable. Then they have meltdowns and they become viral videos. And it's all interconnected. You stop feeding folks, then you jam them on there. Then you can't even get peanuts because somebody might have an allergy. And the whole flying experience is a nightmare.
Brian, to answer your question, by the way,
yes.
The worst part of flying is landing and taxiing for close to an hour.
Where did you land?
O'Hare Airport.
And they taxied you for an hour?
At 1 a.m.
Because they didn't have a gate open?
Correct.
Was that the excuse?
They never have gates open.
Was it like the mall? They just kept driving around to see if somebody backed out?
Yes, it's happened to me
You're
at
leaving?
least 5 times at O'Hare.
Another plane
It
has
happens all the time.
Reverse lights on and you just sit there for 10 minutes. You leave it or what?
That's basically it.
All right, well, listen. On that note, we're done. Another day, 3 down. Tomorrow's Thursday. We'll be back to do another show. I want you to be back with us. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of the program. Thanks, guys, for your contributions today. We appreciate that. This is Daybreak. I'm Brian Noonan, and this is the Civic Media Network. Bye.
Okay, live stream.
Bye, live stream. Thanks.
We will see you tomorrow. Have a good day.
Ta-ta.